Okay, look at their Twitter header, right? Now look at them. Twitter header, them. Why do they look like they've not showered? Okay, that's my question. They look like they don't shower, right? Like, that's greasy. You know, that's greasy. This one doesn't look as greasy, but, you know, I hate to do this because, like, I'm not, like, the best looking person in the world either, but, like, what's going on here? What's going on here? You know? What's going on here? I mean, better hairline than I have, but, well, it really looks like you haven't showered in, like, at least a week. Oh, also crazy eyes, right? Like, this person has straight up psychopath eyes. I thought they were supposed to be a family. What is this behavior? This is your child. Zena hates Spawn so much. Yeah. Zena is being a massive fucking bitch, and I don't know why Zena hates Spawn so much. Is she jealous? This is like some step-parent that she's doing. Evil step-parent, you know? I think Zena is jealous of Spawn. I think that's what it is. You have to put your child first. That's #1 mistake here. That's #1 mistake here. She also is now doxing her own child who didn't want name mentioned. Okay, so let's go to the Tumblr on them first, okay? So apparently these two, and I don't know why, but basically these two, just a sec, these two, okay? They have the most cringe Twitter presence I have ever seen, okay? I have to say that they have to have the most cringe Twitter profile I've ever seen. Why the f do you share a Twitter? What is going on there? And also, on top of that, all of the art that they have of themselves is, like, super cringe. So, these two, they're kind of like, they're on YouTube, right? Yeah, they're, like, streamers or whatever. They came out of the vaush community, which I'm not surprised. And I think they're trans. I asked somebody who the alpha was in this. I don't know which one's Poppy and which one's Zena, but they said that they think Poppy is the alpha. They're pretty typical woke demons. Damn. Do they do inflation art ever? That'd be cool if they did. Has the same energy as getting awkward photos done at JCPenney's. Nice. Nice. Okay, wait, let me pull up their Twitter. Give me a second here. Poppy is the taller one? Okay, yeah, I was asking which one's the ringleader. And the friend I was messaging about it said they think that Poppy is the ringleader. So I guess that's the taller one. Anyways, let's see. Poppy and Zena. Okay, yeah, here it is. This is their Twitter, okay? Zena and Poppy, wholesome degenerates. Now, look at their Twitter header here. I'm about to be so mean. I'm about to be so mean. From what I've seen, their takes are actually a little bit more sane than the average vaush enjoyer. I reacted to them last and checked it out before I got ultra blocked. I also used to argue with people in VGG about how Poppy was sketchy AF, and now I've been vindicated. Okay, anyways, I'm about to be so mean here, but okay, look at their Twitter header, right? Now look at them. Twitter header, them. It's very mean of me. I'm blocked. Oh, wow. I'm blocked. I didn't realize I got blocked. Damn. When did they block me? That's wild. That's wild. Okay. I want to show you one other thing, okay? I want to show you one other thing. Give me a second here. That was like instant. What the f? Yeah. They identify as the cartoon characters as So It's Cool Lamau. God. No, they would. I wasn't blocked last night. Last night I followed them and I wasn't blocked, but they blocked me all of a sudden now. Hey, I used to be a vaushite and I'm a centrist. I mean, look, I don't mind like vaush's takes necessarily. Well, I don't mind them necessarily, and I did think Vaush is a very nice guy before he got exposed with all the leaks. And so they probably searched themselves on Twitter religiously, and you made a stream post about it this morning. It's true. I shouldn't have posted then. I should have taken screenshots before I posted. But they have like a 25-year-old son that they adopted. How the f can you adopt somebody at 25? It's too late, okay? It's time to move forward. Your childhood sucked. I'm sorry, but you don't live in the past, okay? I discovered butt dust from Vaush in like 2018 or 19 or something. I don't know if it was 2018 or 19. I think it must have been 2020, I think. 2020 or 2021, because I don't think I was online at 2018 or 2019. Anyways, right. Well, what was I going to do? I was going to show you guys something. I think they, or at least one of them, actually did raise a kid. Like, they knew their mom and something tragic happened, so they adopted. Yeah, but the other one is like 25 when they adopted them or whatever. Yeah, it's weird. Anyways, I don't know much about these two. So, you know, like being real with you guys, I don't know much about these two. So we're going to be discovering together. In fact, some of you may know more about these two than I do. Okay? It's a Discord adoption too, if I recall correctly. Damn. Okay. This is them. This is very different. Then Mama Dust introduced me to DGG. Damn. Butt infection, I would love to know your thoughts on the... I miss the old Vaush, the combative debate bro, not the super gay passive-aggressive asshole. I do. He was always very nice to me. I do have to say. He was always very nice to me. So it makes me sad to see what's happened. Anyways, it's normal to have Discord children, right, kids? No, it's not. It's not. What is this? What is this? There's also another image of them. Wait, let me see if I can find it. I might have to switch to a different Twitter account because they blocked me. Anyways, I love to give you those, Lamau. Hi, Fairy Queen. How's it going? Dude, I don't know much about this, okay? I don't know much about this. I was on a panel with these two. It's a fast food ad versus what you get meme. True. Doing great. What were they like? Oh, Bleeding Heart Centrist gave another 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Bleeding Heart Centrist. It's so kind of you. They were wild, man. Lamau. How are they wild? Can you tell me how they were wild? That's... I need to know. I need to know. I think they're furries, too. I think they're furries, too. Look. I found this. They got angry and upset towards the middle of the panel. Dude, these guys have to be really... These guys... I mean, they... Why do they look like they've not showered? Okay? That's my question. What's wrong with being a furry Stardust? Your boyfriend is one? If he is one, you know, that's a surprise to me. We did a religion panel with Sunday and Wick and Professor McManus. Just a second, guys. God, I'm trying to eat. Second. My sister was calling me. Fairy Queen says, it began pretty respectfully, but they became angry when I suggested that parents have the right to raise their kids in the religion of their choice, barring any clear abuse, that is. We got into a disagreement over the word obscenity and the constitutionality of the Westboro Baptist Church's protests. I love the banana thinky face. This made them angry at me and at Wick. I was told that I was denying transgenocide towards the end. Jesus. Congratulations on the boyfriend stars. I'm happy for you. Oh, thank you. Okay. Anyways, sorry. It's a pretty angry panel. I felt frustrated with the conversation. Maybe Zena and Poppy get along better with other streamers on other topics, but that conversation felt a bit toxic, not gonna lie. Do you have a link to that, Fairy Queen? I would love to see them debating. That would be hilarious. I would love to see that. I love banana thinky face. Keep the showering comment in mind for later. No way, Snicker Snack. Please don't tell me that I foreshadowed something without even realizing it. Yes, but it's long. Hang on. Yeah, can you just DM it to me on Discord? But wait, it's been a while since I've been here. Who's start dating nowadays? The same person I was dating before. Butt infection. It's so bad. It's so bad. They look like they don't shower, right? Like, that's greasy. You know, that's greasy. This one doesn't look as greasy, but, you know. Just DM'd it to you. 4 hours long, just a warning, LOL. Jesus Christ. What kind of showers, if any, is my concern? Swag, I was hoping it was still him. Yeah, it's him. Yeah. Although, apparently, a ton of people seem to think that we've broken up. I don't know why. It's really strange, but yeah. Yeah, these people don't look like they shower regularly. I hate to say it. I hate to be mean, but they look like... Okay, when I was in college, I was part of this group, right? And there was a house that everybody would go and meet at. It was like the writer's house. All the writers would go there and hang out there in between classes and after classes and stuff, right? And, you know, writers are weird. So you've got, like, some normal people, and then you've got some people who genuinely look like... And these look like some of the people who looked... So, the people who I would avoid. Like, the people who would get a little too friendly with you, a little too comfortable with, you know, with you, you know... I never liked that. When it would be weird people, and they would get too comfy, and then they would try to, like, you know, be touchy with you. And I just didn't like it, you know? It's because you don't talk about the boyfriend enough. I'm just not a PDA. I'm not good at PDA. I'm trying to get better at it, but I'm not good at it. It's just not because of the culture I come from, you know? Anyways, yeah, these guys look like people at the writer's house who would be a little too friendly and a little too touchy, you know? PDA is gross, stay bad at it. I'm so bad at PDA though, it's like next level. It's like I'm bad at expressing affection in any sort of way in public. Just the way that I was raised, you know? The type of people that want you to smell your breath, get as close as possible so you know they don't brush. I hate to do this because, like, I'm not like the best looking person in the world either, but like, what's going on here? What's going on here? You know? What's going on here? I mean, better hairline than I have, but well, it really looks like you haven't showered in like at least a week. Oh, also crazy eyes, right? Like this person has straight up psychopath eyes. Hi, Scott Miller. This might be the meanest I've ever been. There's somebody on my stream. Psychopath eyes, for real. You see this look in somebody's eyes and you know that, like, okay, they're secretly crazy, you know? Maybe not secretly, but yeah, that's psycho eyes. That's like they're dead behind the eyes. Come on, Stardust, you're a cutie pie and everyone knows it. I don't know about that, but embrace the cattiness. Oh, God, I hate it. I'm so mean. But what is this hair color? Why do you look like you're greasy? Why do you look like you haven't showered in a week? And why do you look like you're dead behind the eyes? Why do you look like you're dead behind the eyes? Why do you look like a psychopath? That's the I will bite your face off eyes. Those are shark eyes though, not gonna lie. Like, this is somebody, I honestly am scared by these eyes. I'm scared by these eyes. What have those eyes seen? What have those eyes done? What have those eyes looked at themselves do? You know? Tell me what you've seen. Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, this is probably, this is pretty mean. But look, I'm not saying that I'm the best looking person in the world, but I don't know. This is, oh, with how Poppy weaponizes her therapist background, how she's handled this entire thing, her eyes don't surprise me. Yeah, see, I don't know anything about this. You know more than I do at this point, Snicker Snack. So we will see. God, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person. Oh, Fairy Queen sent me the link. Before we get into this, do we want to watch a little bit of the debate? I think we should watch a little bit of the debate that they were in. Oh yeah, Poppy is a licensed therapist. Good God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Here's the thing. Imagine you go to a therapist. You want to unpack some childhood abuse or whatever, right? Physical abuse, childhood abuse or something, I don't know, or emotional abuse, right? You're let's say you're like 16 and you're still trying to figure, you know, you're trying to handle your emotions and understand, you know, why you're a certain way, right? Let's say you're just trying to deal with like some of the worst abuse possible, right? You show up to your therapist appointment and it's these people. It's this person with this look in their eyes. FBI, yeah, this online has scary look in her eyes. It's almost menacing and threatening to me. Yeah, oh my God. Snickersnack says, Lamau, I'm burned out by politics at the moment, so I listen to commentary as background noise while I work. Bro, I'm just saying, when your therapist delays your appointment because they need to see their therapist. Oh my God. Just imagine being like a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old, you know, and you're going and seeing a, you know, the mandated therapist that they've mandated you to see a therapist because of, I don't know, an abusive situation at home or something. You show up, this is your therapist. This is your therapist. This is the person who's sitting across from you. Anyways, sorry. I don't know why I went there. Anyways, this is what they do in their free time, by the way. This is what your therapist does in their free time. Jesus Christ, dude. Mandated limit. Oh, I'm just saying, look. You know, like, I'm just saying, yo, like, can you imagine? Let's say it's mandated, right? Like, you know, what then? Can you imagine? I would be so, oh my God, tell me where I touched you. No, really, I'm cured. I don't think I need to sit down. Imagine the first conservative mom that takes their kid to them. Okay, she got kicked out of a Renaissance fair for fingering. Disgusting, bro. No, I'm just, forget even the mom. Let's say you're a child, okay? You're a child. You don't have very many parental figures around you. You have like one good parental figure, and then, but like you know, the others are all absent or abusive, right? And you've been required by the state or by your school to see a therapist because of, like, I don't know, your background or whatever, right? Imagine that you have no good parental figures around you, okay? Maybe one. You have one good parental figure around you, and then you're supposed to go and tell this person about your trauma. You're supposed to tell this person who does this in their spare time about your trauma. This person who does this in their spare time Okay, my autism is cured, thank you. Jesus Christ, dude. I'm just saying, you know. Goddamn, dude. Imagine she offers to adopt you. Imagine she offers to adopt you. They protected their ex account. I bet they're watching TBH. I'm sure I wasn't as mean as Chud Logic when he went over this. She looks less scary than most psychiatrists I've seen. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Now look me in the eyes this time while you recount your father's. Imagine she tries to adopt you. Oh my god, dude. Let's watch a little bit of this, okay?
In order to win that fight, I don't see.
Whoops. They stream together, so they have a Twitter account together and they stream together. Talk about codependent, right?
Will stop you and it will destroy you. And that sucks, but it will happen. The second is on a moral level. If we're trying to enforce our will through the point of a gun, I don't know about that. I think that's if we can get something done non-violently, it's just preferable on all levels, because again, violence begets violence begets violence begets violence. Where does bloodshed stop, right? And we see this play out again and again with a revolution, then counter-revolution, then counter-revolution, and the oppressed quickly become the oppressors when they get that power if they go by violently. Anyway.
All right. Anyone else?
So I will respond to this because I'm picking up, to be very, very clear, before I launch into this story, I want to buttress this by acknowledging the very real concerns that Poppy, that Zena, that, I apologize, Star Panda, and you have insomnia. You're right. There is a huge amount of transphobia that exists in our society. It is absolutely the case that many people who are trans, people who I love, are fearing the laws that are being passed. I do not disagree. I do, however, take great umbrage at the idea that on this question of religious intolerance and whose views we are tolerant of is something that I don't have skin in the game. So I will share with—
Okay, fine. We'll do one more. Button faction. Okay, I've cummed. Session's over for today. See you next week, slut. Poppy is armed. She has a handgun, or so she says. Jesus. I'm usually only really afraid of white men in suits. That shit's spooky. Okay, anyways, back to I just want to see them interact. I just can't believe they run a Twitter account together and they stream together side by side. Is that not awkward? When Beckett came and visited me, like, it was awkward. I don't know.
with you the personal story of my family. My family,
when we tried to stream, you know, for
my grandparents, they were both Irish. They both came from a small town called Dunleary. And
Star, what's your web address? What does that mean? I don't know what a web address is.
my great-grandfather, his name, I can't give his name, but he was involved in the Irish Republican Army. He used to store guns in his backyard and covered them with horse so that the black and tans wouldn't find them. The street and the area and the communities in which they live, we're talking about violence, and I'm hearing this. I understand the concern. Until you've seen a child's school being blown up, cars being thrown into cars being blown up, guns in the street, it's really easy to talk about this in vague terms. It's a different thing when you're—
What a based queen that a fairy queen is. Let me see. So she says around 58 minutes is when it starts to spiral.
I'm going to give you the example of the Supreme Court case with the Westboro Baptist Church. Do you think that they made the correct decision? Do you agree with the Supreme Court case decision?
Can you specify what that is for the audience, for those who aren't familiar?
Yes, so this is Snyder versus Phelps. This is a case, this is a landmark decision, and I'm reading off of Wikipedia. It's 2011, in which the Supreme Court held that speech made in a public place and a matter of public concern cannot be the basis of liability for emotional distress, even if the speech is viewed as offensive or outrageous. So for context, the Westboro Baptist Church often would picket fence at the funerals of veterans. They would often have signs that would say, and I won't say it on stream, but horribly homophobic statements about gay people like going to hell. And this speech was supported. It was upheld that they have a right to have this public display. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think that's the gesture of what Wick is getting at, right?
Okay.
It's
okay. Thank you very much. So, Wick, you've been addressed by 2-3 people. I'm going to give you a few minutes to make a reply. Okay.
I'm guessing you don't have a DGG or a dot GG. No, I don't.
Plays into kind of my argument here that we may be getting a little.
I have from Stardust.net, but that's like
I oppose almost any legislation
and I never
to combat tolerance.
Update it.
Again, in extremis, like when kids are being abused and that we can make exceptions. but because any tool, any mechanism, any procedure that we fashion in order to combat this, if we believe, and I do, that there exists systemic discrimination against minority groups, such as trans individuals, such as gay individuals, such as black individuals, we can recognize how these tools that we give the system are going to be used, again, whether intentionally or not,
Washing my hair.
those groups, because of course they are. Because of course
Do you have data on this?
Do I have data on this? You want me to have data on whether or not a systemic
Like non-discrimination policies all across the board already have religion in them by and large. So like what you're saying seems to be in conflict with that's already there. Like you're saying that that is being used essentially. That sort of thing is being used to further discriminate against religious groups. But I don't think that's what I've never seen data that that's actually a thing that happens when that's been legislated.
Okay, now Wick, respond.
Okay. So, well, I'll give you some examples of how this is, right? We can look at DeSantis is passing these laws you can't ticket in front of, you can't, right? In a way.
Okay, so I think for clear, there's something.
I just want to hear them speak.
We're ruling that. Like that's still a thing. And then as far as all the other examples, like you've just brought up a lot of like politician examples, and I'm having a really hard time with this because this is a panel about reconciling with religion, and a lot of your examples aren't really on point. And so a big thing that we've been noticing as trans people is that the laws, in fact, that are supposed to protect people are being used to protect the really toxic ends of religion. The very same policies that are being used to protect trans people sometimes get twisted around to do the opposite. And that's an example that's contradicting what you've been trying to say.
Okay, very quickly.
Briefly.
Just very quickly, Wick. Fairy Queen, was your point
They
pertaining?
look very different on camera. Are they trans people or grifter? They're trans people.
Directly to this conversation.
Not precisely.
Fairy Queen was ahead of me, so. And then I think Star Panda wanted to say something, so you can put me last.
Okay, I just don't want to cut the flow. Of
I will.
this.
I will try to be succinct. So back to the shirt, because this keeps coming up. Yeah, send the fucking kid home. Like, I'm gonna be really clear. This is decided. I don't want to have a debate about genders because let's be very clear. The DSM-5 clearly outlines that within the notion of gender dysphoria, it specifically outlines that a person who has gender dysphoria either wishes to be the other gender, i.e. within the masculine feminine spectrum, or another gender. This has already been outlined for like the last 10 years, give or take. Like this is literally my job. I literally diagnose people with this so they can get gender affirming surgeries. So like the idea that like that kid gets to wear that, no, I go back to my original statement. This would be like some dumbass kid wearing a flat earther shirt to his science class. No, send that kid home. That kid wears hate speech, send him home.
Well, and if anything, actually work with the kids too if you get the opportunity.
The other thing I wanted to add on to is that so you were talking about should they have upheld that the West Bureau Baptist Church was allowed to say these things? No. We have rules against obscenity. I do not trust a bunch of people in random gowns who get without any say and without any checks and balances.
Why do trans women to male sound clever, but male to women sound like total? I don't know what you're saying, Base Liberty, but I will say that there have been studies done on trans people, and especially male to female trans people. Their IQs tend to be significantly higher than the general population. That's actually like a thing.
To make random decisions about what they think the law works to. We already know we have activist judges on the Supreme Court. They have several times gone with freedom of religion as an excuse to allow bigotry.
You can also skip ahead to 124.31. 124. Okay, let me just put it here.
Conversation. We have room for one slot at a time. Join the Discord server pinned at the top of the chat. We'll try to get through as many of you as possible while respecting the time of the guest, so you won't be on for long, but you will be able to ask a pointed question, and I will allow you to reply. All right, Poppy and whichever one
So apparently they spurg out here.
of you wants to go first. I'm going to let you both go, Poppy and Zena. Try to keep it to 1 minute each, okay?
Sure. Could you repeat the prompt, though, because I want to make sure I understand what you're asking.
Absolutely. So when we are talking about questions of toleration, we are fundamentally...
Whoa, 2024 Gay Odyssey says, these two demons are the types that ruined the LGBT movement, ruined it. We haven't even gotten into it yet, 2024 Gay Odyssey. We're just watching them, that's all. We're just watching a little bit of them, okay? Just chill a little bit. We don't know that yet.
Fundamentally talking at some level about at what point? Where's the threshold at which rights may be curtailed? Is it low? Is it high? Is it at the point only of harm? Is it at the point of offense? Is it at the point of prospective offense, prospective harm, et cetera, or however else you want to reorient that? But if that
Sure.
clarifies things, yeah.
So
Please.
this actually goes into what I was going to say. Is so one of the things I have a frustration with Fairy Queen about is that I feel like she's conflating offense versus harm, like extremely. So, like, for example, we were talking about things that the Supreme Court has ruled on as far as that are art. Like, these are things are protected under free speech because they are defined under that artistic ideal. Well, comparing that to the Westboro Baptist Church, who makes hate speech flat, like, signs, like, these are not the same thing. And so to me, like, this feels like a false equivalency. It also feels very strange to me. Like, again, my question is always, what does systemic harm? The Westboro Baptist Church did harm. The people who are making the laws against trans people, my people, are doing harm because they want us to commit and die. I am really frustrated with a lot of the people here that aren't queer, or at least as far as I can tell, aren't queer, because it feels like this feels like a lot of like mental masturbation, when in reality this is, hey, depending on who wins the presidency, I could end up in a mass grave.
A mass grave?
So-
that's a little bit out there, no? That's a bit extreme. A mass grave? A mass grave is kind of a stretch. Just a little bit. Wow.
Can we please, like, actually, instead of jerking off about where these lines are,
Who digs a mass suicide? Why they can't force you to... Okay, wait. I'm surprised you're not covering the new claw insanity. What's the new claw insanity? I'm always behind. Admiral Gibbs, can you message me on Discord? I didn't know there was new claw insanity. I just wanted to cover this a little
let's
bit.
talk about where these things actually do very real systemic, very real societal harm. The Westboro Baptist Church did harm. That was their intentional goal. That's what their stated goal was.
All right. Thank you very much. That's about
Easy
it.
go.
Going off of that, I'm very much
2024.
still on
look,
the belief
let's
that
not.
they-
2024. Let's not make assumptions about people. Okay, let's not make assumptions about people yet. Okay, we haven't gotten into it yet. Yeah, Admiral Ghost, just send me a link on Discord.
things that interfere only with you as a singular person and only inside of you. Cool,
Hi,
fine,
Kareem
whatever.
TV.
Okay, I don't care what people think. Not like hugely, okay? The problem is when beliefs and certain stuff lead to actions and how you start interacting with other people. At the point where you are acting with others, we're in a society, and at that point, that's where we start to ask the questions of what's appropriate ways to treat each other and what isn't. What are legally protected ways, and what are ways that, like, the legal system can come down on you if you start hurting others. So, yeah, offense versus harm still takes into account, you know, the individual versus the group, and that's where we got to figure out what's going on there and how much harm is actually being done.
Thank you very much. Are you concluded?
Yep.
All right. Wick, please try to keep it within a minute if you can.
Do my best. So I think the threshold, there is a threshold. There is a line. I just think it's way up there. It's very, very high. I allow a lot of harm to be done, right? I think that we should allow. Society does not have the right, just because there will be some harm, to stop all these things. We cannot save people from all harms. We simply cannot, because to try to do so will be an even greater harm, in my opinion. Where I know this will be frustrating, but I don't know where the exact line is. I don't. I am not smart enough to be able to make that distinction. I don't pretend to be. I can point out extreme examples, as these are obviously over that line, such as child marriage. I would like the state to step in for that, right? Human sacrifices, you know, things like that, obviously. But the Westboro Baptist Church did harm, but I think that trying to shut them down would, in the long run, do more harm. And that's my statement.
Okay, it's a good line to end on. Star Panda, please.
I apologize. Can you repeat the question again?
Absolutely. So when we're talking about questions of toleration, we're talking about questions of, at some point, there's going to be a threshold beyond which you curtail someone or some group's rights to some kind of action. Where do you think that threshold lies, or should lie, if indeed you do? Maybe you're an absolutist about these kinds of things. You don't think the law should curtail verbal positions or ideas at all. I rather suspect that's not the case, but laying out the question given originally.
So I think ultimately, like, where we should be with how much harm we allow I think we should do our best to curtail as much harm as we can
So what,
while giving as much
President
people
Sunday was
freedom
moderating
as
this?
we can.
Anyways, let's move on. So, yeah, there's apparently claw drama. Maybe we can cover that after. But let's go into... Where's the Tumblr? Here it is. Poppy and Zena are predatory. He hosted the panel? Oh, okay. Interesting. So, let's get into this. Somebody sent me this link. It's a Tumblr. And basically, this Tumblr is just an archive of what people are alleging. Stardust trans people think they will end up like the gay community, but they never will be. I disagree with that. I think that there are plenty of trans people who are going to, I think they're going to be more accepted by society. They're a minority group, right? They're a small group. So, they're, yeah. But I do think that, there are reasonable people and they will be accepted widely, right? So, Stardust change back to real camera. My hair is drying. My hair's not dry yet. I don't know. My hair is dry. Anyways, Poppy and Zena are predatory. My name is Heloise. Archive of Poppy and Zena's hypocritical and predatory behavior. Anne Lily Orchard. Warning for CSA, incest, COCSA, and romantic abuse. Damn. Oh my gosh, Bleeding Heart Centrist gave another 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Bleeding Heart Centrist. You are so baller. I love you, Bleeding Heart Centers. Thank you so much. Anyways, attention. To get the housekeeping out of the way, I am not affiliated with Zena and Poppy and their social media accounts. I've never been personally victimized by either party as of writing this. I have never had a personal relationship with them. This blog is for record keeping and accountability. Everything on here is considered alleged. As the circumstances surrounding Zena and Poppy become more dire and there's a higher risk for emotional or reputational injury towards victims, I may have to withhold/redact information posted onto here. Bear in mind that I have privately monitored and archived public posts relevant to Zena and Poppy's conduct. While light can be the best disinfectant against problematic people, the comfort and safety of the victims take precedence. Sorry, I'm just doing my hair at the same time while I'm doing this. Oh, okay. All right. This blog does not tag trigger warnings. Okay, that's fine. We don't really. You will find relevant triggers in the bio. If certain posts are especially triggering, I may put a community label on them. I do not encourage minors to interact with the content of this blog. Do not badger anyone involved in this situation, especially Zena and Poppy. I do not recommend confronting them directly. It is a waste of time, and distant documentation is the safest and most productive approach. Anonymous messages are made public at my discretion, and I do not encourage ad hominem attacks or unsubstantiated rumors. I agree with that, guys. Do not do unsubstantiated accusations here, okay? Please let me know if I've posted inaccurate information, and it will be swiftly corrected. Okay. All right, finished. Do not badger anyone involved in this situation, especially Zena and Poppy. I do not recommend confronting them directly. It is a waste of time, and distant documentation to say, oh, we already read that. Below is a drive of screenshotted public posts from Zena and Poppy's accounts. It is not complete, but has infrequent updates depending on how safe it is for victims involved in the posts. I'm also providing very helpful links to give more context. My posts are tagged with the people involved for your convenience. Blog by Poppy's child detailing their experience. New window, open, and new window. Oh, it's been deleted. I wonder if it's been archived. Oh, sorry guys. I'll try to see if it's archived. Web archive, internet archive. Nope, it's not been archived. God damn, dude. Google Doc of Poppy and Zena's abuse of their kid. Open. New window. This isn't a Google Drive. Oh, no, it is. Okay, never mind. Open link. New window. Okay, this is so strange. You're by far my favorite streamer, Stardust. You're fun and you don't have an agenda. Well, thank you. Very kind of you. I'm glad I'm somebody's favorite. I always think, like, oh, people in my chat are just here to pass the time while they wait for their real favorite streamers, you know? So, but I'm happy to have you guys here. Anyways, here it is. Spawn. Poppy and Zena are abusive parents. Poppy did threaten to sue the kid. Jesus. Wonder if the kid buckled. Yeah, it looks like they deleted their Tumblr. How much do you know about the Snicker Snack? PZ said they didn't abuse their kid. Why are Poppy and Zena always operating as, like, one person? It's so weird. Pokies on Zia? Okay. That their kid abused them. They're lying. Here's the proof. Preface. I want to keep these points in mind Oh, sorry. I want you to keep these points in mind as you read through this document. While this is not the abuse of a minor, this is the abuse of a vulnerable person by people who claimed parenthood over them. Poppy's child will be referred to as Spawn for their privacy. Poppy is not Spawn's biological parent, but has been parenting them since birth and the death of their mother when they were around 4 years old. At the time, Spawn was significantly physically disabled, without reliable transportation, isolated, searching for a job, and using their trust fund from their deceased mother to pay Poppy and Zena's rent. Poppy has said in her recent stream that Spawn hasn't been her child in her eyes for 10 years. This document doesn't even delve that far into the past. Spawn is 24. Pay attention to the power dynamic in the evidence provided below. This document is not the fullest extent of what Spawn has gone through. Poppy has said Spawn hasn't been her child in her eyes for 10 years. That would make Spawn at 14 when Poppy disowned them as a child. That's crazy. Damn, dude. A little bit. I've been watching Chud's coverage of it. I know the broad strokes, but the story is so convoluted. Fuck, dude. Yeah, this is gonna be our stream content today. I think this might just take up all of stream, given how much there is. You know. Okay. Poppy on being a parent. Check out the Reddit recap. Let's see. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Okay. Sorry. I know there's no checklist to prove I'm valid, but it still feels really invalidating to not like them. My big sister has 2 kids, and I just find them annoying and really stressful, and that makes me feel like a guy, but I really don't want to be one. Wait, what is this? Check out Reddit recap. I'm so confused by this. Concupiscent progress. 5 Nights at Freddy's translator. The Girl Survival Guide. For concupiscent progress. I know there's no checklist to prove I'm valid. It still feels really invalidating to not like them. Trans women here. Having kids, already did that once and it was way too much work. You're absolutely a girl and you can be selfish. It's totally cool. Key for this document. Red sensors are Poppy, purple are Spawn, green are Spawn's friends. This doc contains a mixture of screenshots from group chats, Spawn's private Discord server with a few of their friends, and some photos of paper notes left for Spawn. Batch 1. The housing assignment. The red sensors are Poppy. Okay. Please stay on task. Rules at the bottom of pages will be enforced. If you get a section of that house where we need to move stuff, please let us know. FYI, all the trashes will definitely need to be emptied after chores. Purple is Spawn. Okay. This is Poppy saying to Spawn. On the laundry basket outside your room is instructions. Please read them thoroughly. We will be going over this tonight after work. The requirements for restoring your internet are on there. There are only 2 things, and they are relatively short, but do require reflection. Thanks, Mom. The internet was their only way of staying in touch with their friends. They were allowed to use mobile hotspot if their main internet got restricted, but that meant that they only got 10 GB per month. To Spawn, please read thoroughly. Requirements to get back internet. How old was Spawn at this point? Oh, they were probably like in their early 20s. They were probably like 23 here. Okay. To Spawn, please read thoroughly. Requirements to get back internet. Please finish the housing assignment. Several pieces were not complete. Zena and I have gone through and highlighted the parts that were missed. The point of this assignment is to understand all the parts around renting. 2, we would like a brief write-up, 1 to 3 paragraphs explaining the specific issue that Zena spoke to you about. Specifically, the tendency to not fully communicate information about jobs or chores and giving each of us different information, the issues around completing tasks fully, and any house rules discussed. See your journal. We would like an explanation as to your understanding of the issue, why it is a problem, and how you're going to work on fixing it. Note, the printout of the housing assignment are some clarifications around daily logs. In short, please read those notes fully, but we need synopsis of the videos you are watching and additional information about your appointment. Something. It's cut off. Damn, they wrote a whole lot for this. They seem exactly like the conservative parents they would probably hate. This is like, it's kind of like a job. It's weird. Add the following to your logs. Also say the following directions to continue using for your write-ups. Fix past logs and tasks with the needed information and complete every single requirement. Read each word. Your resume must be made in Word and then saved as a PDF when you are ready to hand it out. Do not put it in HTML or CSS. If you don't have Word, then let me know and I will get you a program to use. The first thing you need to worry about is the content, not the formatting. 2, list the specific apartments that you are interested in and some information about why you're interested. Add any other notes to each apartment that is helpful, such as cost, utilities, concerns, pros/cons. Use multiple websites. 3. List specific jobs applied to with company name, job title, and link to job listing. 4. Add what was worked on during your appointments and give details. Must be more than one sentence. Also add what you agreed to work on for the next appointment. This is especially useful to make sure that everyone is doing their jobs in a competent manner. Clarification. We're looking for activities related to furthering independence/life skills. You don't need to list watching the dog or doing laundry for our benefit because these are things that you are already good at. 6. For future logs, when researching, list the specific resources that you are working from. If a source is not good, then you don't need to list it. Remember, the library has a lot of books that are useful for topics like resumes, interviews, cover letters, etc. Plan a day to go out there this week. Okay, so it does seem like a lot here, but I don't think it's bad that they're trying to like encourage this person to work on their resume. 7. When watching videos, give synopsis, at least 2 to 3 sentences. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Them encouraging this person to work on their resume and apply to jobs is not a bad thing, but like the amount of instructions here are a bit much. Pretty like micromanaging, honestly. 8. When reading books, give synopsis, 2 to 3 sentences at least for each chapter. In addition, take notes and include a link to them in the log. Updates are needed for looking for EMDR therapists. 10. We need the link for the documentation that you keep for jobs applied to when you applied and including the information from number 3. Even to a child, this would be incredibly overbearing and probably bad for the child. Yeah, absolutely. It would stunt their senses of agency and freedom. Yeah, this is like homework. Please read them thoroughly. We will be going over this tonight after work. The requirements for restoring your internet are on there. There are only 2 things and they are relatively short. Do require reflection. Okay, so these are the 2 things to get the internet back, I guess. Damn. Probation and unemployment officers don't ask for this much detail. Yeah. This is the saddest and most boring type of incest I've ever listened to. Jesus Christ. We don't know if there's incest yet. We don't know that yet. Okay. Yeah. Probation and unemployment officers don't ask for this much detail. It's true. Very true. And it looks like they have a problem with stuff that was... There's none with Poppy and Zena, but Lily Orchard is a different matter. Okay. I'm out, Stardust. Here's another gift. Damn, thank you. Bleeding Heart Centrist. Is Lily Orchard Johnny Depp's daughter? No. Lily Orchard is somebody else. Yeah. Probation and unemployment officers don't ask for this much detail. Yeah, this is crazy. The amount of information that they are requiring from this person is crazy. This, not what was asked for. Useful, but more location data is helpful or something. Check Craigslist for possible rooms. What about utilities and internet? Like, yeah, listing out apartments like this is like, this is not useful because you know, apartments go and come really quickly, you know? They go and come really quickly. So I don't know about this. LOL, who would work here? Take him out or don't. Controlling anyone to this extent is actually gross. Yeah, it's not helpful for anybody because like apartments will go really quickly. And listing out all these apartments and all the requirements, you're just wasting time. Why are they listing out apartments like this? This is so wild. Not a good indicator of overall apartment. Oh, yo, Bleeding Heart Centrist, thank you for the 10s gifted. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. So, wow, thank you. Very kind of you. Really great to see you, Bleeding Heart Centrist. Always appreciate seeing you. Not a good indicator of overall apartment experience. These are all negative. Complaints. Expensive, shady management, noticing fake reviews, no enforcement of non-smoking rule, utilities aren't included in the rent. Building is ugly. I actually like it a lot though. Amenities and office frequently being closed. Damn. Just say find apartments within your price range and then give us a list and we will go see them with you. Yeah. This is way too many. You're not visiting like 30 apartments. At least I hope you're not. Star, we need you. You're real on cam again. Damn. I will get on camera. My hair is still drying though. Okay, it's still drying. I don't know if it'll be tonight. Oh, Nicholas, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships in YouTube chat. Very kind of you. Lack of privacy, false missed payment claims, theft, severe mold problems. Like, they asked for negative stuff, complaints, and then they're complaining that these are all negative. Understood. Utility costs should be able to be calculated online. Hey, Spawn, 2 things. Can you let me know after 7 p.m. when you are done getting dinner so we can start cooking? 2, if you want to discuss the assignments today, let us know then when we have time before we cook and after dinner before stream. Cut off to send it in is 8 p.m. After that, it will be too late and we'll have to look at it tomorrow after work. I appreciate Star Nana. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are so kind today. Thank you. Hi, Dr. J. Do you want to get dinner first so I can keep working on this? I'm not super hungry at the moment because I've had a pretty substantial lunch. 4:23:23. What is wrong with you? 9:06 p.m. You're going to need to do before you leave. Also, there's a lot of things you're going to need to do before you leave. Let me be clear. Be upfront about your plans. Telling us randomly is not acceptable. Also, we work 2 jobs. You know this. I honestly don't get why you act like this. Okay, is Saturday fine then? Y'all told me the weekend, so I'm asking about the weekend. Then Zena replies, what is wrong with you? Friday is a work day and you asked about Friday. Oh, they changed, they started asking about Saturday. And this person is still on them about Friday. What is going on? Okay. What do you mean? What is wrong with me? Why are you attacking me for no reason? Then Zena says, this isn't attacking. You keep changing the story. Go back and read what you wrote. You basically made it sound like Friday or bust and then asked about Saturday. I was going to ask about Saturday after Friday, but Friday was a better day. Then Zena says, you haven't been upfront with any of your plans. Would Friday work for me to start moving? The new housemate goes out of town the next day, so I want to get the keys before then. This implies that you have a deadline that you need to do a thing by. Before you start moving, you do have obligations to this current living situation too, that you need to discuss how you're going to help take care of them. We didn't know that we needed to have this talk with you this soon. I could plan another trip out to blank. Scheduling things together was just a convenience. And then Zena says, next time, please make it clear when dates are flexible at the start. Then this person says, Spawn. Oh, this is Poppy saying this. Spawn, this whole thing is an extremely poor way to communicate. Wow, they're just laying into this person over just a couple of messages. Spawn, this whole thing is an extremely poor way to communicate. I honestly suggest that you write something up for us with what you have established so far and what you still need to plan, and then just start this conversation over. Breaking boundaries as you leave is a really bad look. What is this all about? It's like abuse allegations against a couple of streamers who like try to manufacture like a family dynamic. Okay, I'm sorry for not communicating. Then Zena replies, I think you honestly need to consider how you want to leave here. Do you want it to be on bad terms or amicable terms? Right now, I'm watching you destroy your relationships with both myself and your mom. If you're actually sorry, then stop doing this behavior. This is you making choices. Batch 2. Creature of the night is Spawn. Grumble, grumble. My mom completely without any warning talks about a lot of bronies turning out to be PDF files. Me. You say things without warning for things that need warning. Then mom says, sorry. Mom is Poppy, I guess. Sorry for talking about bronies without warning you. And then Spawn says, I was referring to the PDF file part. And then Poppy says, makes a joke about a lot of bronies turning out to being PDF files, one that essentially says they're synonyms, and starts laughing. Spawn says, some of the things you think are funny actually aren't that funny. Poppy says, no, you're just overly sensitive sometimes. And then Spawn says, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't joke about PDF files. This is around the same time that Brit's Galaxy Brain came to her about Lily Orchard. Whoops. Triggers are... Spawn says, my mom has opinions on triggers. Spawn says, I don't want to watch a show because it's a trigger because of, reason for trigger. Then Poppy says, did you tell them that that's a answer? And then, oh wait, no, sorry, I'm misreading this. Okay, so Spawn says, my mom has opinions on triggers. And then they recall a conversation they had with their mom, aka Poppy. Spawn says, a person they know doesn't want to watch show because it's a trigger because of reason for trigger. Then Poppy replies, did you tell them that's a answer? And then Spawn says, no, I didn't because it's not a answer. When I said one of my friends has a phobia of dogs, and my mom went, did you tell them they're a bad person? Like, just because you love your dog doesn't mean someone's phobia isn't valid. Or when I say PDF file jokes aren't funny, and she called me too sensitive. This started with Poppy saying a smaller trans creator with no real platform R-worded her, with only sycophants around agreeing. Truth came out that the person on stream ranting about others was the liar. Go figure. What up? Welcome. You guys know more about this than I do. I'm just reading this now. Then Zena hoarding the bathroom. Spawn says, I hate how much Zena hoards bathroom time. They're not even using it, but they won't let me shower because they might have to pee. Like, I've told you so many times you're allowed to just go while I'm showering. I don't care. But I was walking around in 80-degree heat, and it's already been a few days since I last bathed. So, like, I wanted to shower as soon as I got home, but no. Finally, I got permission to shower, and then Zena goes, actually, you should wait till we get home so the dog won't be alone for the 15 to 20 minutes you'll be in the shower for. Bruh, she will be fine for that long. Hi, Calliate, how's it going? Trigger warnings make me salty. If something triggers someone, they need to work on it, not live under it, and let society adapt for them. Yeah, I generally am not somebody who's into trigger warnings, you know. Unironically, the form that shall not be named has a good breakdown of everything. Somebody DM me on Discord a link to that. I would love to see that. Permission to shower Lamau. What the f is going on? Yeah, seriously. Yeah, then the stuff about her daughter came out. I think the daughter was motivated by No Flakes saying Poppy was abusive or something close to that. 521. Don't move any stuff. Spawn, at some point in the evening, can you hit up dishes? Zena is doing shopping and I am working on notes. And Spawn replies, I would really prefer not to. I've been feeling burnt out and tired for a while now. And Zena replies, I asked you not to move stuff on the couch. Please don't move my stuff anymore. And then Spawn replies, you told me to wait 5 minutes. I waited closer to 10 minutes instead of moving it. You decided to lecture me about keeping my door open. Zena says, then don't move it. I still said not to. I'm trying to leave to go to the grocery store. I've been trying to leave for the last hour. You could have asked for clarification. You forget stuff too, but can't give me that benefit of the doubt. Now I have a big ass pile to sort and you don't even know what is any of it. Then this person says, Spawn says, the pile is the same size as it was before. It's just in a different spot. And Zena replies, no, it's not. Zena says, stuff was separated and at least somewhat sorted. The fragile stuff was in one area. Do not move my stuff anymore. No exceptions. I didn't want to get yelled at for not replacing the couch cover later on. Do not move my stuff. That's it. And then Poppy says, folks, let's drop it for now. We talk later when people have calmed down. And then Zena says, okay. Timestamps for Zena's messages. These are seconds apart. Yeah, damn. They asked Spawn to change the couch cover and Zena's stuff was on the couch. And so they moved the stuff on the couch. And then, yeah, they got mad. Yo, I told you couch cover equals freaks. 3 days of dishes. I'm sick of everything. I'm sick of, so this is Spawn again on Discord saying, I'm sick of everything. I'm sick of living here. I'm sick of my parents nagging me for every tiny little nitpick. You cannot offload 3 days of dishes on me and then get mad when it takes a long time. Hey Spawn, dishes seemed like they took a while. It is now later than we planned. We will have to postpone house meeting. I am going to need you to work on your room tomorrow because we have Molly made Friday and the AC repair folks on Saturday. We will attempt to have the meeting tomorrow. Then Spawn replies, okay. Then Poppy says, I will say it is frustrating because we were waiting for you and there was not a lot of dishes. Please be more mindful in the future. And then Spawn replies, there were a lot of dishes though. And then Spawn says, and then they got mad at me for waking up late and got mad at me for starting my bed routine 30 minutes late. And also, I am 22, but every aspect of my life is timed. I still have a bedtime. And they keep moving said bedtime earlier and earlier because of not doing other things on time. I literally have ADHD and autism and a heart condition. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, these people are very controlling. What the like, very, very controlling. This is not living. This is not like living with a family. This is like working. This seems like working. Then this person replies to Spawn. They say, this reminds me way too much of our dad who made monthly schedules calendars, not just for me, but also for our mother, his ex-wife. That bedtime is completely unacceptable, full stop. Creature of the Night says, like, I can't always do things on time, especially in the heat because my blood disorder means heat affects me so much worse. I literally collapsed a few days ago and we don't have AC and haven't had since March. And this person says, do parents not realize forcing their kids to be so micromanaged by them will hurt us and make us codependent / have poor self-management skills? Then Spawn replies, POTS isn't a good enough excuse for not waking up on time. My entire life has to be on their schedule and not my own. What is POTS? Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Related to position of your body, related to standing upright, increased heart rate, a group of symptoms. Why does heart rate increase excessively with POTS? In most patients with POTS, the structure of the heart itself is normal. POTS symptoms arise from a combination of the following. Lower amount of blood in the circulation, excessive pooling of blood below the level of the heart when upright, elevated levels of certain hormones, such as epinephrine and norepinephrine. What are the main symptoms of postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome? severe and or long-lasting fatigue, lightheadedness with prolonged sitting or standing that can lead to fainting, brain fog, forceful heartbeats or heart palpitations, nausea and vomiting, headaches, excessive sweating, shakiness, intolerance of exercise, or prolonged worsening of general symptoms after increased activity. A pale face and purple discoloration of the hands and feet if the limbs are lower than the level of the heart. Symptoms typically get worse in warm environments such as a hot bath or shower, a hot room, or on a hot day. In situations involving a lot of standing, such as waiting for a bus or when shopping. If fluid and salt intake have not been adequate, such as after skipping a meal. Remember, Spawn is 5'1" and weighs 80 pounds when healthy. This is not a product of the abuse, but consider how much smaller they are than Poppy and Zena on top of that with POTS. 6:20, you can't eat if you miss your scheduled eating time. Okay, this actually is bad. This is actually bad. Spawn says, I was late on getting to the kitchen and Zena told me I wasn't allowed to get lunch, which is not acceptable. I need food, especially because I need more food than I normally do. I get that I was late, but I need food. I should be allowed to get food when I need it. I'm sorry, I was late, but I still need food regardless. Then Poppy replies, we have a schedule in our house. You need to follow that. Zena doesn't get personal time with constant interruption. While I agree with you that making lunch shouldn't be an issue, in the past, the problem is that often lunch making has been noisy or a time to overly interact with Zena. I will talk to Zena about the situation, but I need you to hold to our schedule. Talk later. You are also positive with COVID. That is an issue as well. Please remember that. The schedule as a whole is more important because it will prevent close contact. One of the symptoms I've noticed that COVID makes me significantly hungrier, which is the other reason this is such an issue. Oh my God. 6:27, water's off. I go to take my meds. I can't because my water bottle's empty. I go to refill my water. Our water got shut off again. I go to get the filtered water from the fridge. Zena yells at me for waking them up during their alone time. I explain that I need water and our water got shut off. Zena says I should have gotten it ahead of time, which I literally would have no way to predict our water would get shut off. My parents never tell me when we get emails from our apartment complex, so I would have no way of knowing. This kind of parenting ends up in documentaries and the kid in prison. Wild, dude. Hi, Kazuma Kiryu. 6:28, moldy jelly. Spawn says, convince Zena is genuinely trying to starve me. I was about to make spaghetti and Zena told me to make something quick because they needed food and I should have gotten food at 7. Their mealtime is 8. They should have also gotten food at 8. Then I go to make a PBJ but realize I don't have any jelly, so I ask my parents if I can use their Smucker's brand one and they say yes. Already put peanut butter on one half of the sandwich at this point. Realize the Smucker jelly is moldy and smells really bad. So I ask if I can use the other jelly in the fridge that Zena's for, need I remind you, one singular sandwich. Zena says no and goes, if I let you use it, then I won't have any left. My mom has to convince them to let me use their jelly for one singular sandwich. That is wild. This is not a family. Like, families like sit together for dinner and stuff. I don't know. Also, they have a tiny apartment. This. Spawn says, I'm really not feeling well, so I asked my mom to go to the pharmacy for me. She says no, but she'll take me to the pharmacy, which is fine, whatever. And then she gets mad at me for not asking how they were doing first. And she's upset I don't check in and see how they're doing first before asking for help. But they never ask how I'm doing before asking me for anything either. And then she got mad at me for trying to check the dog's paw when I noticed she was limping and was like, the dog's fine. And then we get into the car. She basically says that I wouldn't be so sick if I were taking care of myself better, and she wants me to do protein powder again and drink like straight up salt water, and I said it's not my fault that I'm sick, and she said, there you go again, you're not even listening, no one even said the word fault, and said I had COVID for only 2 weeks, and I'm not sick anymore, and I don't know what she wants from me. Not putting the bigger vent in here, I'm too exhausted to go over it again, but just found out the salami is now labeled Poppy only. There's no other salami in the fridge. Salami is the only sandwich meat I eat. Plus, I'm the one that paid for it. She's not going to notice 2 slices are missing. The package was open like today. I know we shared the last package because this one was unopened the day before yesterday, which means we shared the last package. The wolf girl is only like 19 or something. Just a preview keeps getting worse. Yeah, starts backdropping this on top of the way Poppy treated that Noah Flakes person and another trans person who thinks she's a wolf named Dormius or something is real bad. She manipulates mentally ill people. Damn. She's not going to notice 2 slices are missing. Oh, we already went over that. The package was open like today. I know we shared the last package because this one was open the day before yesterday, which means we shared the last package. So if she really wants to claim the package as separate like that, she shouldn't have touched the other one. Each box has 2 packages of salami in it. If she claims one for herself, she doesn't get to touch the other one. And yet, also keep in mind, salami is like the only meat I eat regularly, and she's the one who constantly tells me I'm not eating enough protein and acts like it's my fault when I'm sick for not taking care of myself / not eating enough. And then she pulls this. Mom is blaming bad nutrition for my POTS, and we have a guest over, so I can't even call her out. I just say I'd have better nutrition if I had better access to the kitchen. Yeah, it seems like not only is it like every part of this person's life is micromanaged, they don't even have adequate time in the kitchen. Zena says, why are you putting recycling in the dishwasher? You're just going to melt the plastic cups. I'm glad you didn't run the dishwasher. This could have easily destroyed the entire dishwasher. And Spawn says, oh, sorry, I'll go clean them now. And then Zena says, it's my alone time. You can take care of it later. And then Spawn says, when I apologize in person, they're like, an apology won't fix it. This is a horrible mistake that you should know better about. The dishwasher didn't even get run, though. Nothing happened. 8, 6, always wrong. This is another vent from Spawn. I'm so tired. I could do literally anything in the world and Zena would yell at me for it. They want a baby gate in front of my door to keep the dog out of my room. We've had the baby gate for a week, but it hasn't been taken out of its box yet. I decided to put it up so my parents didn't have to deal with it. You know, trying to do a nice thing. Zena yells at me for 30 minutes for it and threatens to kick me out of the house because I can't follow instructions. And talks about how I haven't been doing my chores and they've had to pick up the slack, ignoring the fact that 1, the reason I wasn't doing chores a month ago was because I had COVID. 2, I've had to pick up their slack for years. 3, I have been doing chores, just later than normal. Last time I had an argument with Zena, Zena said, you want to be independent, yet you can't remember to take out the trash after you were sick in it. Like, bro, it's one thing I had to be reminded on. And my mom is all like, I don't think you can ever repair what you've done to your relationship with Zena. Yet Zena doesn't ever apologize for treating me like I'm so tired. Then house meetings. Dude, what is a house meeting? That's not how a family operates. What is going on? Spawn says, every house meeting I ask for unrestricted access to the kitchen. Every house meeting, my parents tell me my access to the kitchen isn't restricted. Every time I go to the kitchen outside of my allotted time, I get yelled at. And this time, when I brought up that thing mentioned at house meeting, Zena went, we didn't say that if you want something changed, you had to bring it up at house meeting. Spawn says, overworked my body to the point that I think I'm going to be physically sick. Got yelled at for moving all my furniture to the living room so I could vacuum my whole bedroom. I did so much today. Cleaned and sanitized my entire desk, vacuumed parts of my room that haven't been vacuumed since we moved in like 4 years ago. As a minister, I'm allowed to say these people need Jesus. I didn't know you were a minister, Chase. That's cool. Jesus Christ, dude. Have you guys already been over this? It says, to be fair, there was very little space in the living room, but also they weren't using the living room. I didn't want to leave filth sitting in my room before I left on Saturday, so I deep cleaned everything. Because my parents were rushing me near the end, I couldn't take a break, even though my POTS got so bad I thought I was going to vomit. Then they post a screenshot of what Zena said to them. Poppy and I are still discussing the exact details on timing on this. You will need to get up early to take care of house chores that were supposed to be done today. You were told that you needed to leave time for these this evening, but did not do that. In addition, due to having all of your room's content in the living room and kitchen means that you have also brought all the dust and allergens with it. You will be assigned tasks to clean the kitchen and living room because of this. Further, you must be explicit about your intentions with people. Claiming that someone saw you do something is not an acceptable form of communication. Basically puts responsibility on someone else to supervise your activities, even though no communication was asked for that. It also takes advantage of myself and Poppy when we are dealing with chronic illness or ADHD symptoms because it relies on having extra spoons to focus on and know what you're doing when we are not able to or not even in proximity. Hi, later, how's it going? I am upset with how you didn't fully explain the task you were doing and with the impact that had on me being able to access the house and with what you communicated as reasons it was okay when I talked to you. And Spawn says, y'all are the ones who didn't leave time for it. It was nearly 10 p.m. by the time you came out to talk to me about chores. You could have talked to me at any point in the 2 to 3 hours before I started moving things out of my room and didn't. I'm not taking advantage of either of you, and frankly, don't appreciate you implying malicious intent in saying that. I get that I should have told you guys about it, and I'm sorry for not doing that. Poppy didn't say anything about it when I told her what I was doing, and so I didn't think there was an issue. However, communication is a two-way street, and you also need to learn to not spring house chores on me the day of like that. Then Zena says, I'm not arguing. If you want to talk further, you need to have a conversation with me. Then Spawn says, I'm sick and tired of every single thing I do in your presence being a mistake. I clean sections of my room that probably haven't been cleaned since we moved in. I worked myself into being physically ill because you were rushing me and reprimanding me for moving myself in the living room. I'm done lying down and taking it every time I'm not your definition of picture perfect, because it's been made abundantly clear that I never will be. Then Zena says, you are also making accusations without any data. I repeat, if you want to talk on this further, then you need to ask for time for an actual conversation. Then this person, Spawn, says, if you don't want to argue, don't start a debate. I'll drop this for now, though. Jesus Christ. Oh, I avoided this drama because these two always seem like weirdos. I didn't even know of their existence until recently. Bad person. Zena yelled at me for putting recycling in car wrong after being told to put recycling in car. Wouldn't accept apology. Said should know better. Act like I did it on purpose. Didn't mean to be bad. I'm mad at my dog, and I hate that I'm mad at her. It's not her fault. Parents love her more than me. Not that I'd ever act on that anger, but sit with this for a minute, then look at the screenshot from their server on the previous day. I'm loving everything about this look. Then Poppy Wise says, love you, my son. Now sit with it. I'm so confused. Love you, my son. Also, is ADHD like an excuse for being subpar at everything? Like, what is going on? These people are using ADHD as a excuse for everything. I've lived with 23 different women before I started living alone, and ain't none of these made me do their dishes. True. Thank you for the $2, Testy. Bro, my mom is insane. She's mad at... who is the blue person? Okay, guys, I need to take a break to break fast. So give me a second here. I will put on something. Hopefully it won't freeze this time. I catched some stuff from Zena and Poppy. I think they can have some good insight on things, but whenever they start talking about their own lives, it always sounds like this to me. They're micromanaging the out of their kids. Their kids in quotation marks. And it's just insane to me. That is not a family. The way they run their house is not a family. It's unacceptable, honestly. Okay, I'm gonna step away for a few minutes to get some dinner. Don't go anywhere, okay? How's it going, guys? I'm back. Okay, back to this document. Holy, this document is so much. Hi, Talking Trees. How's it going? Did I miss anything, guys? Did I miss anything? Damn, viewership's low on Twitch. What is going on there? Anyways, other people are also on the document. Then Star comes back right in the middle of us working out our plans to fix Grace. No, ma'am, I didn't miss anything. Okay, so I'm so confused. Who is the blue here? That's my question. Because they gave a key, a color key. Here's the thing about this, is that all of these people seem like messes. They all seem like they're riddled with mental and physical issues. That's, you know, green or Spawn's friends. Purple or Spawn. Red's... There's no Red Bar's watching. I doubt Red Bar is watching. Anyways, it seems like all of these people have issues. Mental issues, physical issues. They're all sick in some sort of... All those icons on top indicate other viewers, at least. They're using Google Drive. It's an entire loony farm. Why are they bad people and why should I hate them? Because they take advantage of mentally ill people. I guess they're going on with the YouTube career. LOL. Something's wrong with this family for real. Yeah. Okay. Dentist appointment. Zena takes over the kitchen. Moldy counter. Okay, here it is. We were here. Who made this doc? A third party. 9-4. The list was false. Spawn says, bro, my mom is insane. She's insane if she's mad at Blank for not talking to her when I was asking Blank for a place to stay to escape my mom. Then one of Spawn's friends says, what the red flag? Oh God. That's the problem with having a whole family full of victims. There's no one to take responsibility. Yeah, I mean, it seems like people are like, one thing I've noticed that's a trend with people like this is that because of their disabilities or illnesses or what have you, mental problems, they feel justified in treating other people wrongly. And that's, you know, not everybody can be a victim. Like, and she still believes that everything on that list of things they were doing was either false or an exaggeration. The list is at the end of this doc. September 20th. Credit scores. What are y'all's credit scores? Asked Spawn. For apartment searching in the future, since I don't have a credit score and would need a cosigner. I just popped in. Are we talking about the Thorpes? Not quite. We're talking about a different group right now. Different family in quotation marks. Then Zena replies, this is a massive ask and not something we can handle over text. And then Spawn replies, I'm not asking for a cosign like right now. I'm just asking what your credit scores are. And Zena replies, we don't just know that info. We have to look it up. You are also asking us to cosign and plan on that money, but that is a larger conversation. You can still research apartments without our credit scores. I'm not asking you guys to do anything like that. I'm just collecting information. Zena says, by simply collecting that information, you are asking for our financial information. You don't give someone your private financial information unless you absolutely intend for them to use it. Okay, I didn't know it was such a big ask. I thought they were supposed to be a family. What is this behavior? This is your child. Zena hates Spawn so much. Yeah, Zena is being a massive, and I don't know why Zena hates Spawn so much. Is she jealous? This is like some step-parent that she's doing. Evil step-parent, you know? September 21, moldy counter. Spawn says, I feel like it's a bit telling that I fall asleep easier. I don't get as nauseous when I'm in blank's house. Like, I think my living situation might be stressful enough that it's negatively affecting my health. And Spawn also says, my parents constantly talk about how they don't think I'm adult enough to be independent because I'm forgetful. But the 1 week I'm gone and suddenly there's mold growing on the kitchen counter. Gross, bro. That's so gross. And they look like they don't shower very often. Let me remind you what these people look like. That's what they want to look like. They want to look like this or like this, but they look like this, okay? Crazy eyes here. And this is the one who's a bitch, right? This is the one who's being a bitch to Spawn. They both look like they don't shower regularly. And she looks like I don't know. She looks like she a meth addict or something. I don't know. I might be autistic, so now I can just be an asshole. Spawn says, Mom's like, so I might have mild autism, which means every time I'm an asshole to people, I can use the autism as an excuse. It was a joke, but I don't know. I didn't think it was very funny. Hi, Kenny. How's it going? October 4th. Don't do tone indicators. Is that what you want? Jen. We are not doing slash here. I can't function with that. If you can't communicate tone over text, then you need to talk to us in person. From Zena. Why is Zena such a Why are you such a What is going on? They're supposed to be your kid. Then Spawn says, I just didn't want it to be taken as rude. How would you prefer I communicate tone over text if tone tags don't work? Zena says, text like normal. Tone tags don't work for everyone and are constantly changing. Why are you such a massive It's literally some step parent. And it's like, how controlling can you be? She gets mad at this person for moving her stuff, even though they said give them like 5 minutes. Paul says, I'm autistic. That's not an excuse to be an asshole, yeah. Xena is in her late 20s/early 30s. I bet she feels threatened by Spawn. I wouldn't be surprised. It is literally step-parent behavior. Evil step-parent behavior. Not good step-parent behavior. Evil step-parent behavior. Nothing is an excuse to be this level of gross. Yeah, it's weird. She gets mad about her people moving her stuff. She gets mad about somebody just using a tone indicator. She gets mad at somebody just asking for information. She gets mad at somebody just needing to eat. Are you kidding me? I would love to talk to this. I would love to talk to this. Like, I would love to talk to her and ask her, what's your problem? You meth addict looking. She wants to look like this. She wants to look like this. This is like, oh God, she would never look like that in a million years. Hi, Zach, how's it going? It's okay to be mad. Sometimes that can't be helped, but how you express that anger is important. Exactly. She looks, I cannot believe they drew themselves like Disney characters and they look like this hideous. She looks like she would yell at kids for playing outside. Possible. Possible. And what are these glasses too? Red to blue gradient. Your glasses don't go with any outfit. They will never go with any outfit. Your hair looks like it's probably fried to you know? Your glasses look like they will never go with any outfit. They're completely out of style. They look cheap. What's wrong with her teeth too, dude? And these sweaters are not flattering on either one of them. What a Can we crowdfund her some Invisalign? Crowdfund me some Invisalign first, okay? I got a little gap in my 2 front teeth. Even her teeth are trying to hide from her. That's so funny. I had a little gap in my 2 front teeth. People tell me it's not noticeable, but to me, I notice it. And I'm like, bruh, that's my favorite gap on Twitch. Damn. Hi, somebody. How's it going? 10:13. Xena takes over the kitchen. Pay close attention to the timestamps here. Okay, 3:02 p.m. Spawn says, donuts and Swiss rolls were a bad breakfast choice. Lactose intolerance. Oh, lactose intolerance. I literally had no other option because I didn't have any clean knives. Parents didn't let me do my dishes yesterday. Why didn't they let this person do their dishes? Why is Spawn not allowed to do dishes? And Spawn says, bro, I hate Zena. I literally haven't eaten all day, and I tell Zena that they still won't let me. I tell Zena that, and they still won't let me heat up the food in the microwave. I've had breakfast, and that's it. It was 8 hours ago. Then apparently Zena said to her, or said to Spawn, you should have coordinated better. You didn't tell us anything about you going. I did. You knew I was going. Like, if it wasn't clear enough to you, you could have asked. I'm so exhausted. I have granola bars, but that's literally all I have. I want a floor map of their apartment. Spawn deserves a medal for not throwing hands yet. Yeah. Oh, man. I'd love to see them try this with anybody else. They can only do it with people as vulnerable as Spawn. Spawn says, literally, scheduling and time and is always more important than my health because Zena might get a migraine. Never mind the fact that I'm starving. Spawn then says at 10:20 p.m. Dude, okay, it's 8:50 p.m., 9:02 p.m., now it's 10:20 p.m. Y'all, I still haven't had lunch yet. Zena is still in the kitchen. I haven't had a real meal since 2 p.m. What the fuck are they doing in there? Cooking. It's been 2 hours. Spawn says they're incapable of making a quick meal, yet they ask me to make something quick all the time. Then what in the goddamn are they making? Something in a slow cooker they have to sit there and watch it? Spawn says, I saw pie crust on top of the freezer, so I assume they're making pot pie. Okay, well, the first thing I saw said like an hour and 20 minutes ago, so I guess I'll give them that one, but why aren't you allowed to, like, I don't know, use a microwave? Then Spawn says, exactly. Is the kitchen that small? Spawn says, I'm just asking to use the damn microwave. The friend says, microwave's literally the height of put that thing in the heat box and walk away until it yells at me. And then Spawn says, and no, my kitchen is like twice the size of every other kitchen I've seen in any house or apartment. Everything Zena's doing is on the opposite side of the kitchen to the microwave. Whoever is green needs to be careful about summoning sarcasm, the genie that will mock you until you manage to get 3 twisted wishes proposed. Spawn is 80 pounds and 5'1". I don't think they could if they wanted to. Yeah. This kind of shit would make anyone snap, even someone not physically capable. Withholding food and controlling this much of someone's life can make them actually go psychotic on you eventually. Yeah. The friend of Spawn says, does Zena not realize you don't have to be standing in front of the microwave for it to work? Like, if their issue is you being in the kitchen, you can just put thing in, walk away until it beeps. Come up to Canada, let's just find an apartment together so we don't have to deal with people who don't get it. Spawn says, update. It's now been like 2 hours and 20 minutes since I was told to f off. I still have not gotten to eat. I had to get my mom to talk to them to be allowed to eat. Then their friend says, I'd kill someone if after being talked to that Zena refuses to give up. If Zena refuses to budge, let me know, I'll come bite them. Spawn says, my mom was also like trying to say it was my fault because I went shopping before going home and my food time is at 7. Bestie, I wasn't going to be on the bus home till 7:50 and it was scheduled out like that on the calendar. Hi, VegCom, how's it going? Toa says, who's the mom and why is she letting them live with her? I don't know. Okay, 10:14, your time is not your own. Spawn says, sorry, I can't put off doing my dishes any longer. You can't spring chores on me the day of and expect me to drop everything to do them. I'll still get done what I can from this list, but my dishes will take priority. And Poppy says, Spawn, do your dishes first. You can get the list done too. If something isn't working, we can move it to Sunday, but you have to focus on the dishes and get them done efficiently. They should only take 30 minutes-ish. Please get moving now. And yes, you can be told the things the day of. You do not have a job, full stop. I thought they had a job. I don't know. Telling me things day of is fine, but it's more of a, you can't expect me to drop everything to do whatever it is. And then Poppy says, I absolutely can. You have no job and are not in school. If you want to talk further, come out here. And then Spawn replies, but also telling me things day of is not super helpful for my autism/ADHD because I need to have a concrete plan of what's happening each day. And Poppy says, fair, but this is why we had a comprehensive schedule and you didn't hold to that. And Zena replies, also, accommodations need to be discussed ahead of time. It's not fair to make boundaries and expect them to be held to when people don't even know what they are. Plus, you aren't the only one with disabilities. Spawn says, I've told you guys this before, but it's understandable that you forget, so I can't be mad at that. Okay, Spawn says in Discord now, Zena assumed I was trying to be an asshole when I was like, I get how you could forget. Bestie, I have ADHD. I forget all the time. I understand forgetting things. I'm not trying to be a... And then Zena goes, I write everything down, so it's not possible I forgot. Clearly, you just didn't tell me. I've told you this at least 5 times. Missed dentist appointment. Zena wants to play the Disability Olympics. Wild, yeah. Spawn says, I forgot to turn off airplane mode and missed the call about the ride to my dentist. Zena won't take me because they might get a migraine. If I'm more than 10 minutes late, the dentist will make me reschedule. I don't know what to do. My mouth hurts so much. Then Spawn says, why does this keep happening? I have to wait another 2 weeks now because Zena won't take me and I missed the call. My mouth has been in pain for months. I missed the appointment that was supposed to help me get my life together. I missed the appointment to fix my teeth. Everything feels so hopeless now. 10:28, reasonable time. Okay, Spawn says, oh my God. Parents told me to get up at a reasonable time. I woke up at 12:30 and finished breakfast by 2 p.m. because I was supposed to vacuum in the morning. And then I go to Zena, like, hey, y'all told me to be up early for chores. And they're like, this isn't early. This is really late. And you made a choice and everything up. And I'm sick of having to micromanage you all the time. Dude, this person is sick of you micromanaging them. This seems like good training for spotting the divide between abuse and unreliable narrators. Dude. Like, okay, it's not my fault y'all weren't specific about what time you wanted me up by. Also, you also don't have to micromanage me. You're just incapable of accepting anything less than perfection. You're just gonna have to get consequences later today. There were a million chances y'all had to wake me up. This isn't my fault that y'all didn't communicate. October 30th. Oh my God. Dusty, I need to info dump you on the grand challenges of social work and how in literature it's trying to prevent this situation right here. Had a fight with Zena because I forgot to pick up a chocolate bar that fell on the floor when I was out of it from POTS, and I explained all the issues and symptoms I was having first to explain why I forgot, and Zena kept saying it was a personal choice that I hadn't had lunch yet because I apparently still had food in the fridge/freezer. Food that I either A, didn't know existed after looking for it, or B, would take me 20 minutes or more to make, which I couldn't afford to do because the pharmacy closes at 6. And then when I said I was having POTS issues, I was accused of lying about POTS because I hadn't mentioned it earlier in the conversation, despite me saying all the symptoms I was having. And also, that even if it were true, it's still my fault because I made a personal choice not to eat. And after accusing me of lying, Zena wouldn't let me talk and kept interrupting me. Zena and Poppy are allowed to be out of it, but I'm out of it. It's due to personal choice, apparently. And I tried to end the conversation, but Zena wouldn't let me. So everyone else is allowed to end arguments, but I'm not. And this entire 30-minute argument turned screaming match only happened because a chocolate bar fell on the floor. I can't leave until I find a job, but I don't have the energy to look anymore. I've applied so many places, and no one wants me. I feel like I'm suffocating. Bonus points, I was also visibly struggling to breathe that entire conversation, which is, you guessed it, a POTS symptom. Jesus Christ, dude. They're super controlling. It's crazy. Yeah, it's wild. You'd think so, wouldn't you? They treated like he was 5 and 40 at the same time. Okay, November 6th, the burnt tortilla bag, 7:20 p.m. Poppy says, hey, we need help. The tortillas bag was burned by the toaster over and is making everyone sick. We threw them away, but we need the trash taken out. No one else has used them. Please be more careful. This is a health hazard for me. Spawn says, okay, yeah. Then Poppy says, next time this happens, please tell us immediately. Otherwise, you will not be able to use the toaster oven. Please clean the toaster oven once it's fully cooled. Spawn says, this wasn't me. Poppy says, it was no one else, and you literally came out of your room with a mask on. This should be premeditative knowledge of the smell. No one else used tortillas in the last several days. Then Spawn says, I came out with a mask on because I smelled stuff. Then Poppy says, only you. And then Spawn says, this wasn't premeditative. I came out to make food and smelled stuff, so I immediately went to grab my mask. The tortillas weren't ever anywhere near the toaster either. I do all my food prep on the island. And Poppy says, Spawn, the only person who used the toast was Zena, and they made me toast. So how did the bag get burned if you're the only person using tortillas right now? Then Spawn says, I used them yesterday, not today as well. I don't know. I think the Zena person is sabotaging Spawn. Then Poppy says, fair enough. And then Spawn says, but I never had them near the toaster when I made stuff. And I had no idea anything happened until just now because I couldn't smell it from my room. It was Zena. Let's be real. Zena's always in the kitchen anyways. Lots of expectations, but guy can't even make his own lunch. Yeah. No, Zena is always in the kitchen, right? So it was her. It was 100% her. Poppy says, I can demonstrably prove you did it, but all evidence points to you. Please clean the toaster oven as an act of good faith when you have time tonight. I will let this go for now, but should something like this happen again, the person responsible will be buying me a new one. But then this is Spawn talking. Zena saw me without a mask on at first too. I came back out after to grab a mask, and because Zena forgot that first time, I apparently planned to atom bomb my house. And then the friend says, I think I've said this before, but it feels so unnerving how your mom talks to you like she's your boss. Like living there with her is your job. And I don't know. Maybe that's just how she talks, but looking at this makes me go, and I like how everything in the house is your fault now, even if you physically were incapable. Astounding. John says, I genuinely have no idea how the tortillas got there. They weren't there this morning, and I had to move my stuff away from the toaster oven. Also, if it were me, then the smell would have happened this morning when I made bagels. Someone else put the tortillas there, and Zena is the one who ran the toaster without checking if there were flammable things near it. Spawn says, if anything, that makes this Zena's fault, not mine. God, when I smelled it, I was like, that's Drano, right? My parents would never use Drano, so I was really confused. But then I was like, did my package arrive early and the product arrived early and leaked everywhere? But that also doesn't make sense because Geiger counters don't have liquid in them. Didn't assume burnt plastic because I've accidentally burned plastic on the toaster before and nothing happened other than there's plastic stuck to the glass. The making attestations about someone's internal state and processes is gross. It is a lot of abusers' tactics against me personally, galvanizing language about someone's internal state. My mom didn't used to talk to me like that. I think her therapist training rotted her brain. Actually, no, thinking about it, she's just like that in arguments. Like, I don't think blaming anyone for this will get anyone anywhere. But if we were to blame someone, that blame should fall to the last person to use a toaster oven. If I'm supposed to check for things around the toaster every time I use it, then you are too. Like, even if I did leave the tortillas near the toaster oven, the onus is still on Zena for not checking. Guys, did you know that I actually love waging chemical warfare on my parents? LOL, I'm so quirky. I'd love it a lot more if it wasn't going to also affect me, dum-dum. November 7th, Zena ignores scheduled kitchen time. I hate my family. My designated dinner time is 7. Guess who wasn't allowed to make an actual meal at 7 because half the time you don't make food at 7. At this point, they're just making shit up. Well, you see, Zena was hungry. Oh, right. Okay. Don't you remember Zena is more important than literally everyone else? And the friend asks, question, why the f do you have dinner time but Zena can go as they please? And then Spawn says, see this. And then friend says, do you have also a designated nap time? Do they still think you're 5? Because what in the f? Spawn says, I did. I had to go to bed at 12:30 until like July. Yep, I still pay rent. This person pays rent and they're not allowed to have dinner when they need. Spawn says, I also have to buy a majority of my own food, and because I don't have a job, I'm expected to do chores literally whenever they want. Granted, we all split food payment equally, but they usually won't go shopping for my food because, again, they're more important than me. And they wonder why I avoid talking to them. My mom threatened to freeze my bank account, haha. Why? Because I bought a Geiger counter and those are expensive. Your mom can shut the f up. Spawn says, every time I'm like, I'm sure my parents won't try to steal my money, and then she says something like that. Poppy doesn't give a f about personal space. Okay. Spawn says, oh, no, why is this person putting up with this? Because they're disabled and they don't know any better. They're getting taken advantage of. The people who get taken advantage of are always like people who are coming from not having a family life, people who are coming from, you know, bad home lives, people who are easy to manipulate because they have disabilities or mental illness or whatever. Yeah, they literally have a bedtime, Lissy. They literally have a bedtime. It's crazy. Okay, November 16th. Poppy doesn't give a f about personal space. My mom has a habit of if I don't close the bathroom door, she will just walk in to grab stuff while I'm like brushing my teeth or whatever. And this is what Spawn grew up with. This is what they know. Well, Spawn said that they weren't always like this, right? Or that they weren't always like this, that at least her mom wasn't like this, or their mom wasn't, he, her, they, their mom was never like this. I don't know Spawn's pronouns or whatever. My mom has a habit of if I don't close the bathroom door, she will just walk in to grab stuff while I'm like brushing my teeth or whatever. There's not enough space for that, and I'm always visibly uncomfortable because she's directly behind me and in my space. And just now I asked her not to do that, and she just basically went, if the door's open, I can come in whenever I want. I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable. All you have to do is like ask. It's not that hard. Not really anything bad, but just in case, sometimes she even like touches my back when she comes in, like, I don't know, signal that she's there or make more room for herself, which makes it so much worse for me. This is extra funny because Zena yells at me when I'm like within 2 feet of them because I'm invading their personal space, but my mom is allowed to get within 4 inches of me and I just have to suck it up and deal. I think Zena is jealous of Spawn. I think that's what it is. Growing up like this doesn't help either. I think Zena made it worse for sure, but it was clearly bad before too. New rules and throttled internet. FYI, and things to do for, this is from Poppy, FYI and things to do for Spawn. 1. We need to schedule with MRS. Call them now. 2. You need to find a job and get up at 10 a.m. each day. 3. Discord needs to be closed from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Focus on finding a job. Poppy and Zena are planning to move to blank within the next year. You must be independent by then. 5. Failure to abide by these will result in throttled internet, paying for your own phone. 6. I am sick. I need help around the house. You have to do chores. I'm going to assign certain ones that are house specific, such as kitchen cleaning and bathroom cleaning. We can sit down and talk about these more in detail, but we need movement on this stuff before May. You got issues if you're jealous of your partner's kid. Yeah, it is terrible. It's surprisingly common though with you'll see it happen with step parents, What do I even do about this? They're going to throttle my internet? Bestie, I can't find a job if I don't have an internet. I just asked them to hold off on it until Monday, at least, so we can talk about it. I don't know what to do. They're literally expecting me to be just solely job hunting for 8 entire hours. I'm sick, you have to do chores, but you are also sick. God, what the f? Biological mom died when Spawn was really young in a horse accident. The partner has more issues for letting it happen. I can't imagine being with someone treating my kid like this, adult or not. I agree with that, Chase. Anybody treats my kids like this, I would not. They can never meet goals for privileges, which is a crazy thing to say talking about a kid in his 20s. Yeah. Okay. Fawn says, exactly. They constantly hold it against me that I'm not doing chores, but also they never ask me to do them. Like, if you just asked me, then I would be doing them. Also, I literally haven't been able to go grocery shopping in an entire month because they won't let me buy any fridge food or freezer food. Honestly, the chores part isn't what bothers me. It's the fact that they're going to take away my ability to talk to my friends. My one lifeline in all of this mess. Literally the only thing keeping me sane. I'm not even joking. If I'm cut off from my friends, I will actually blank. I think they've tried cutting me off from my friends 3 times in the past. Every time it caused me to spiral downward. So now they're going to be isolating me. The hypocrisy of my mom is going to make me pay for my phone bill as a punishment, but she also doesn't want me spending my trust fund on bills. So, oh wow, that's awful. What the yeah, okay, having a job is good, but this is not the way to do it. Also, by the way, we're moving to blank, so you're going to have to get the out in the next year. They're acting like you're 50 years old in their basement or something. But even then, there isn't anything inherently wrong with that. Paying rent to live like this, seriously. I think I'll go ahead and picture the rest of this as they're all stuck together on a tiny little space station. Nobody can go outside and touch grass to forget about the pretty social dynamics in the space station. My ex-partner's kid helped me see he was an asshole. The kid is always right. Zena should have used the opportunity to throw Poppy under the bus. Kids should be number 1. No partner is more valuable than your child. Yeah. Because at least I have my own bank account now. Just got off the phone with my credit union, and the person I was talking to kept trying to make sure I was safe and stuff, because I'm not gonna lie about why I need the new account. It's not like I haven't been trying to find a job either. I've been looking, no one's hiring. 11/30/22 was a Thursday. It's not like I haven't been trying to find a job either. I've been looking, no one's hiring. The people that are hiring require more experience in 5 language I've never heard of. So here it is. Can you give me until Monday before these are put in place? At least I need to figure things out, time to fix sleep schedule, and allow time for us to discuss this because I don't agree with all of it. Then Poppy says, yes, starting Monday is fine. To be clear though, it isn't about agreeing with it. It is my rules for the house. I'm willing to negotiate some, but I'm not willing to change some of these. We need to get moving on this stuff, and our lease is up in May. We need things figured out one way or another then. We can talk more on this weekend. I have work tonight. December 1st. Spawn says, stress is getting to me. My hair's falling out again. Girl, help. I am now going to have a panic attack every time my internet goes down. 11/19. Sorry you felt yelled at. Okay. Poppy says, I'm with clients. Come get her. Spawn says, Zena just yelled at me for getting cereal because it was 11 o'clock. No one else was in the kitchen or had even left the bedroom till I was already back to my door, which is when the conversation happened. You are supposed to be up at 10 a.m. I am sorry you felt yelled at, but please be up on time. Then Spawn says, I still need to eat regardless. Poppy says, yes, and you need to be up on time. These are not mutually exclusive. We will talk more when I'm done with work. Jesus. I don't know if this is a guy or a girl, but they are getting yelled at just for getting food. I'm sorry you felt yelled at. Abuser 101. Yeah. Rules are a bigger deal than health. Spawn says, Zena got pissed at me for not coming out of my room exactly at 8. I came out at 8:05, despite the fact that typically they will summon me when they need me for chores. But suddenly, being 5 minutes late is the worst crime imaginable. Also the fact that it's never a problem if they're even hours late to doing a chore. they said that they were going to do, but if I'm 5 minutes late for mine, suddenly it's horrible. Also, I woke up at 11 instead of 10. And guess who wasn't allowed to get breakfast because of that? Okay, here it is. Spawn saying, can I please get sliced cheese, jelly, and pizza rolls from the grocery store? I'm out of all of those, which means I don't really have any food to eat other than pasta. Zena says, no, the rules are not changing. Fridge cleaning needs to be completed first. If you have further issues, Poppy finishes work in an hour. Then Spawn says, the pharmacy closes at 8, and I also need to grab prescriptions. I won't be able to eat at 7 because I'll have to go right at 7 if I have to wait another hour. Love when your parents care more about rules than their kid eating. Welcome back, Banana Mode Stardust. Thank you, Kriegi. It's so wild. I thought my mom was being too much by telling me I couldn't smoke pot in the house when I lived there rent-free at 24. This. Okay. Bon says, things Zena just said to me. I'm starting to feel like your parent and not your housemate. You are dating my mom. That makes you my parent by default. You should feel like a parent. That is your job. For clarification, this is because she's mad that she keeps having to clean up after me because I left one small cardboard box on the kitchen counter. They even admitted it. What the f? Zena, copy my conversation with Spawns. Ask Spawn to take care of their food packaging that they left in the kitchen. They did so. I explained that they need to start picking up after themselves because I have to move their packaging multiple times over the last week. I said I was starting to feel like a parent picking up after a kid and not a housemate. I asked them to work on the skill. They responded with yes, though they paraphrased their words slightly. I wonder why. Zena sort of admits to not wanting to feel like a parent instead of a housemate. They talked about being your parent. Spawn says, yeah. This was at the end of last year. Spawn says they regularly said they didn't want to be my parent, but they literally control my entire life like one. Ms. Melina says, that's what's kind of blowing my mind. They exerted strict control over you on an absolutely absurd level, but they didn't consider themselves to be your parent. Spawn says, apparently. It's important to snack and eat well with pots too. The stuff around food is horrible. Zena should not have this kind of input. What did Zena have to say about this less than a month ago? Finally trying again to make the house feel like ours, set it up to meet our needs, feel safe again. Don't get it twisted. What Poppy's adult kid, and my kid too, did to us was emotional abuse. So many of my keepsakes were broken over the years. I miss my mom, my ass. They weren't a weepy child. They've never said that in their life until the last month or two. Even when they did miss Poppy's company, they never talk like that. All they ever do was ask for time and then show up for that agreed upon time. Needless to say, they sucked at both of those steps. This is something that we tried to work with them on for years, with a variety of different approaches, therapy, and skills. No matter what we did, it wasn't enough. This issue has been going on for years and is part of the foundation of their later poor behavior. By the way, Poppy has worked from home for many years now. When I say show up, I mean go from their bedroom to the couch in the living room. That's it. And asking for time could be verbal or over text if it was during the workday. This is it. That's all. Again, I'm talking about an adult. Star, I have been listening. Are these people internet people? Kind of, yeah. Yeah, they are. Want to know where they stream. Spawn says, yeah, I miss when my mom was nice to me. 12:14. More ambiguous expectations. Fun. Love when parents tell you you'll have chores tonight, but they don't tell you what they are or when they are. Now it's 9:30, and you haven't been able to hang out with your friends because you're still waiting for these mysterious chores. By the way, I did ask at 9:30. Zena said I'd have to wait till they could write down a list for me. It is now 10 p.m. Still no list. 12:15. How dare you call me abusive? Bond says, you don't own the right to my time. Poppy or somebody says, I do actually. You're my child and you're in my house. 10 minutes later. It's f***ed up that you said that. It really hurts how much you try to make me out to be abusive. Okay, Spawn says, Zena legitimately told me that if I haven't moved out by May, I have 3 options. Being homeless, option I don't remember that's also bad, and them filing for guardianship custody of me. 12:24, Zena stops Poppy from being nice. Hi, Simbalaw. What's up? This is what happens when people who have a clinical need to feel like victims become parents. Okay, Zena imposing arbitrary rules for no reason other than to screw me over. After Zena was done in the bathroom, Mom was gonna let me go real quick, and Zena got mad because it's Poppy's turn though, and kept fighting my mom on it and putting words in my mouth because clearly their interpretations of the situation is the correct one, despite being told the direct opposite. Like, Poppy already agreed to letting me do this. This literally only affects her. Why are you fighting us on it? So of course my mom caves, and now it's been over 15 minutes since Zena finished, and I still need to go so bad. Because she takes forever in the bathroom. January 9th, 7+ hours of chores. Zena is so frustrating. Zena over text. Be done with whatever you're doing by 5:20 so you can start chores. He gets home at 5:16. You know, you're late. You need to be on time for things. I'm sick of having to yell at you for this. You told me 5:20. It's 5:16. Zena says, you can't go, but this. You made an agreement to be home by 5 verbally when I asked you right before you left. It's totally reasonable to expect me home in less than an hour when you know it takes 10 to 20 minutes to get there and 10 to 20 minutes to get back, and I have to deal with customs at the post office and deal with the pharmacy and buy food. Also jumping me with verbal agreements when I am hard of hearing. Just getting off work, one thing I missed about this drama is how many people are involved here and who is being the person being controlled. Spawn is the person being controlled here. Spawn says, literally doing chores from noon till literally right now. Parents, okay, now that you're done with that list of chores, here's the next list. You're not allowed to use your computer till this list is done. It's also your fault. You were working that long. You can't be mad about having to do more work. The list. This list is huge. This is a massive list. Due when 9, no computer, Discord, other projects until tasks are done. No exceptions for breaks/eating. Break/eating must be done in a timely fashion. This is what I mean about how they can't ever meet goals. When they do, the goal changes. Vacuum. Move items out of way and put back in original location as you do task. Front door area. Front door inside rug, underneath rug. Front door outside rug and underneath rug. Boot tray. Organize all boots/shoes neatly. Hallways, bathroom, floor, and rugs. Vacuuming. Okay. Use hose to clean under cupboards, oven, and other small areas in kitchen, except underneath table. Sweep the kitchen floor and the anti-fatigue mat surface and around and under the island. Wipe and clean with vinegar. I'm not going to read all this. If tasks are not done, then Spawn will wake up early the next day to complete these items and still have all of the next day's chores to do. No, this is a household chore and not the time for Spawn to do their room. They must take care of their room on their personal time. Even jail isn't like this, Lamau. Yeah, you're right. This makes me so mad. Spawn says, every time they give me a list of chores, they add extra steps that weren't there the last time and then are confused about why it's taking me longer. Also, this time they said my complaints were kid excuses. So now they're just blatantly infantilizing me instead of being subtle about it. Not even saying I won't do it. I'm just saying I'm not doing it tonight. I literally said I wanted to do it tomorrow. And they're like, I'm not comfortable with that. Well, then they don't get done, period. So parents talked it over. These are the 2 fairest options, they said. Option 1, I do the entire list tonight. Option 2, I don't do the entire list tonight and my internet gets shut off. The kicker about option 2 is the way they wrote it is that if I miss even one check on the list, still counts as the second option. Spawn sounds sort of teenage angsty, but she's in a rougher/weirder than normal situation for sure. But that list of chores was basically instructions on how to do only a few things. I don't know about that, Casey. I don't know about that. They keep adding to chores, adding weird instructions and stuff. They talk about how I'm forgetful, but guess which one of us left the stove on for several hours? And guess who used someone else's toothbrush? I'll give you a hint. It wasn't me. Yes, he meets the goal and the goal changes. DID diagnosis. Okay, Poppy says this. Thinks we need to schedule discussion of Spawn's resume, discussion of plans going forward, discussion about DID diagnosis. Hey Spawn, we do not need to do this now, but I think we need to talk about the DID testing as far as I can find. I've gone through this tooth and nail, and I think the PsyD only gave you the diagnosis based on your report of 8 alters. Several of the criteria for DID aren't met, and none of the tests you took test for DID. They should have did the MID6 if they were trying to determine dissociative symptoms. This is not to say you are not a system, but I don't buy this diagnosis. When we sit down, I can go piece by piece through my reasoning. I want to repeat, this is not to invalidate you if you are a system, but I did not see DID. If I did, we would have to start talking about different options for independence. This is my mom telling me this. That last sentence is giving me so much anxiety. Based on previous interactions, I feel like her believing I did DID means I'm not allowed to live on my own anymore. My therapist has no idea what I'm talking about 90% of the time. LOL, she would not say this. Parents for sure pass on their own trauma. Glad therapy is a little more accepted these days. There's no clear expectation which doesn't enforce learning how to cope with the executive dysfunction that comes with ADHD. What do these people even do all day? They got this kid scrubbing everything. I'm sure it's been mentioned, but how old is the kid in all this? Like 22, 23. You're setting up your kid for failure. This is a good example of pseudo-psychologists weaponizing it to control people. I mean, yeah, this person isn't even a psychologist, they're a therapist. Look, quasi-spec, I don't disagree that this person has problems too, but I think their parents are like eternally more than they are. Okay, my parents, we want you to focus all your attention on getting a job. Later, me, hey, can you quiet down because I'm taking a timed test? Zena says, suck it up and deal. Me, it's for a job. Mom, we will try. Also, my parents, not even a second later, go back to screaming at each other. I can't focus on the stupid test with y'all screaming at each other, and I still didn't finish it because they didn't shut up until after I'd run out of time. Never mind, they're screaming again. Might lose my health insurance because my mom didn't give me my mail until a week after it was delivered. Wow. The Spawn definitely had problems, but the parents are way more in the wrong here, yeah. The Spawn's parents are just screaming at each other? Yeah, I guess. Zena, you can do your dishes either today or tomorrow, up to you. Me later. I don't think I can do my dishes today, I'll do them tomorrow. Zena, no, you need to do them today. If you're gonna make me do them today, then anyway, why'd you give me the option in the first place? This is after spending 3 hours doing other chores. Handwrite your daily logs. Zena says, Spawn, your daily log is missing almost an entire week and then some. Tonight you need to work on filling that in to the best of your memory. What is a daily log? Why do they want this person to log? Hello? Make sure that you review past instructions on what to include because they are still requirements. What you're working with on skills and ability is also required. If this is not completed by tonight, then there will be consequences, particularly loss of internet for the entire day of tomorrow. I'm sorry, I haven't been feeling well today and yesterday, and it was hard to work on stuff when my computer was broken. You can handwrite it then. Still due tonight. The logs you're missing go much further back. Yeah, she's gonna write essays about her chores. LOLOL. It's wild, dude. Zena sounds like a micromanager. What is Zena's job anyway? I don't know. I just know that they don't even contribute to the rent. I wonder if it would trigger them to tell them they are being fascists or authoritarians. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Spawn says, I didn't have stuff for the 21st through 24th because my computer wasn't working and I couldn't do anything. Then 25th and 26th, I spent the whole day doing chores, and yesterday and today, I was barely managing to stay awake the whole day. And Zena says, please be aware that this is not a negotiation and we are not accepting any excuses. You know enough at this point to communicate before you decide not to do something that is required of you. If you did not do anything towards independence on a particular day, then you write that. Also, you have lots of books in your room from the library, so it is not true that you couldn't do anything. You also have the ability to leave the house and go to the library, and you still have your phone that you can use. At this point, you telling us that you couldn't do anything is the exact same thing as you making choices about what to do with your time. I will not be discussing this further. It is your choice what to do from here. Okay. Never mind, no bath for me. Zena says, we need to do laundry and bathroom stuff tonight. We don't want to tie up the bathroom for long periods. Please just use ice for your rice heating pack or ibuprofen. Also, Epsom is nice, but there isn't any data for it. Okay. So you wanted to take a bath for pain and to be warm, and Zena's like, no. And I can't use a heating pad for my entire legs. By the way, they didn't even do laundry today. Poppy is a whole mess with untreated BPD, but Zena is awful in her own right too. He can never get ahead. They. Sorry, I don't know what their pronouns are, honestly. 410 getting the internet back. Note the timestamps. They told me I'd get my internet back Monday morning if I got everything done. It's Monday morning, and they still haven't given me back my internet, so they probably forgot again. 410, 12:04 p.m. I reminded my mom about it, and she says, you were asked not to bug us about this. Bruh, you said Monday morning I'd get it back, and you still haven't given it back. They're going to drag it out again just because they can. I need a house. Great. So who knows when I'm getting my internet back? Still no internet. 15 p.m. Dude, this is 12:04 p.m. 9:15 p.m. Still no internet. Remember how they said I'd get it back Monday morning? It's now almost Tuesday. I have no idea when they're coming home. Zena says, update. Due to Spawn not keeping their end of the agreement of the weekend's consequence, they were supposed to complete 100% of the tasks assigned to them over the weekend. The internet will not be turned back on yet. If something is needed for job-related appointments, then Spawn must let us know at least a day in advance so we are able to decide how to handle that. Also, if Spawn goes over their phone plan data limit, they will be responsible for paying the charge on the bill. Because of the poor choices that Spawn has been making in regards to not completing chores, we will be discussing how to proceed and will need some time to think this over. What did I even miss on the chore list? I double-checked it twice. Oh my god. They got everything done on the chore list, and they still will not give this person their internet back. Holy shit. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Yes, there's maliciousness in this. I'm sure Spawn's therapist was all about how he needed structure, but this isn't that. He can never get ahead. Make sure that they know you own the thing they value the most. Abuser 101. Kind of sounds like they're trying to bully Spawn out of the house, but are too to actually say it. Oh, Zena and Poppy tried to explain this away in part of one of their video responses and then threatened to blackmail Spawn. It's using psych to abuse him, in my opinion. Update. Okay, yeah, we already read that. They're still refusing to tell me what I missed. That's 4:11. So this is like 4:10, and they still haven't told. 4:11, 7:45 p.m. They're still refusing to tell me what I missed. The mirror is the only thing I've gotten out of them. I think if my parents can't tell me what I missed on the chore list, that it shouldn't count. They still haven't told me. In fact, now they've yelled at me for asking them. It's nighttime the next day. I can't fix the problem if you don't tell me what it is. Oh yeah, they still haven't told me 10:41 p.m. They're dragging this out as long as they physically can for no reason. In a move surprising no one, I still have no idea what chores I'm supposedly missing. Update, turns out my mom also has no idea what chores I'm missing. So Zena's just been avoiding telling both of us. It's so unfair that Zena gets to drag out my punishment days later and not even explain why. Zena has a stomach bug, so sorry, can't communicate. Wow. Girl, my mom is insane. People keep projecting onto me that I'm abusive. I wonder why. If this is a consistent pattern for you, maybe it is a sign you are the problem. If she can say that with her whole chest and not recognize the irony, there's no hope for her ever realizing that she treats me like dog. Poppy said she was going to sue him? What the f? Is this the vaush Poppy? Not the Poppy that he was bothering, but it's a Poppy from his community. 420 internet restriction. 10 days after it was supposed to be restored, this is 15 days before Spawn fled the house. Zenas is noted. Spawn says, I have an appointment tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. with my job developer, so I will need internet for that as well. I also have a job interview at 9 a.m. on Monday. Okay. Zena says, the internet is just fine for you and your friends. Too, if you need to go to the library and use a meeting room. We can discuss details later then. Weird, you didn't put anything. Oh, wait. Clearly, you would like the internet and computer usage. We are willing to approve the usage for the job development and the interview. So what's your offer to us for having usage of it? You lost internet privilege because of repeated bad behavior. What would be acceptable as an offer? That's on you to figure out, not turn the question back on us. I don't know what you would want. Can you at least give me an idea? Super open-ended questions like this don't really work very well for me. We can discuss details later then. Weird, you didn't put anything on the calendar. I'll put it in now. All 3 events have been added. Oh, I guess I read it out of order. Paying rent? Hello? Yeah, they're paying rent. It's crazy. If I'm not mistaken, though, Spawn is paying their rent, and considering that Poppy got fired for her bad behavior online, streaming and their GoFundMe are their only source of income. Spawn says, I hate it when they do this. Like, can I offer to do my normal chores that they told me not to do? Also, why do I have to go to a job interview? Begging them not to play mind games with me for once. What do I do if I'm not allowed to go to a job interview? Apparently this was a test and I failed it. I was so anxious I couldn't think of anything. Why are they like this? I'm never good enough for them, and that's so ingrained in my head that anytime they do these stupid little tests, I think nothing I could say would be good enough, and I psych myself out. It was a test. It was a test. How was the test? What was the test? Here's a list. Okay. Yeah, this kid had a goal to show up with a 3-page single-space list of things they were upset at us about. Half of them were just dishonest, and half of them were just partial framings that ignored any context. To be clear, I'm not a perfect parent. I was young, abusive, and when they were young, and dealing with the grief of their mom dying, and showed some really awful people to bring around them. But I spent 15 years in therapy and Zen trying to make up for that, only to watch them try to become a wedge between myself and my fiance. Here's the list of allegedly dishonest deeds and concerns, copied verbatim. Bathroom rules. I have to ask before showering, but you guys never ask me before showering. Reserved bathroom times for me aren't respected. I have to hold it when I wake up late, even though that is the time I need it the most. If I ask whether or not you need the bathroom to shower, and you say you need the bathroom, please 1, actually get up and use the bathroom right away, and 2, let me know when you're done. Kitchen. Not respecting my times to use the kitchen. You cook late, and this cuts into my dish time, forcing my dishes to run later, and sometimes even cutting into the times I'm supposed to be asleep. Sometimes you take up my designated food time. If I miss my food times, I'm not allowed to get food until y'all are done in the kitchen, which isn't good for me for health reasons. Shouldn't have to keep my snacks in a separate room, especially if that is a room I'm not supposed to go in between certain hours of the day. I am supposed to be snacking throughout the day for my health, but I can't do that if I'm barred from it. This also applies to my sports drinks. I need those throughout the day. I have a disorder that requires a large amount of salt to be taken in regularly. We should all have equal access to parts of the house, especially parts of the house that facilitate bodily functions, such as bathroom and kitchen. I won't ask for equal access to the living room, but I should be allowed to go into the kitchen whenever I need to, in the bathroom when someone isn't using it. This is just wild. I mean, that doesn't undo the damage it caused on your kid, and letting Zena go crazy like this controlling bathrooms and food is just more of the same. Yeah. Poppy was dealing with the grief of Spawn's mother. What about the grief Spawn has over the loss of their bio mother? Yeah, it's a good question. Chores. I shouldn't be pushed to complete tasks that require one of you to do something first, e.g. moving your stuff off the couch so I can vacuum the couch. And I shouldn't be reprimanded for not completing said tasks either. You need to understand that I'm an adult who can manage my time, and I can complete chores without super strict deadlines because I know they need to be completed. Not making immediate requests. Task switching is very hard, and I need time to transition tasks. Even animals in the zoo can when they want to. Yeah. Warn me preferably 24 hours before assigning me big tasks that will cut into my day or mental planning. Autism makes plans changes feel awful. TM. Spawn has POTS too. It seems they didn't take that very seriously. Yeah, these people are garbage. They are. They're garbage. They look like freaks. They look like you don't shower, and I don't regret being mean to them, honestly. If I have to stick to my chores on strict schedules or risk getting either guilted or my computer privileges taken, you also should have to stick to your chores, namely dishes. On that note, getting privileges taken is weird for a 22-year-old. New things get added to my chores without warning, permission, or compensation, making them increasingly longer. Then I'm reprimanded for not doing the extra parts later weeks because it wasn't made clear that this was meant to be a permanent addition to the chore list. Sometimes I'm asked to do your dishes for you, or pretty much forced into it because you guys didn't do your chores the night before my dish night. I need you to stick to your dish days as well. Sometimes dishes aren't done for 4 days straight, and it falls on me to get everything done. Not giving me instructions over text, even though I've asked for it numerous times. This is how the issue of one of us misremembering the instructions I was given, and then I get told off for it. It is completely unreasonable to expect one person to do 4 days worth of dishes in one night, especially if those dishes are meant to be someone else's responsibility. They should not suddenly become my responsibility when you guys have migraines. If I have previously signed house agreements to the contrary, and I'm pretty sure those agreements have said I have to help with things, not do everything, then those agreements need to be broken or changed. Oh, thank you for the raid. I didn't realize I was raided. She became a banana? Damn, yesterday she was a human. Yeah, I'm just a banana for today. My hair isn't dry, and yeah, I don't want to be a human for today. Welcome in, guys. Thank you for joining us. Very much appreciated. And also, by the way, guys, if you like the content, please consider subscribing, super chatting, or becoming a member. Anyways, resuming. Yes, we are looking at Poppy and Zena, not so wholesome, very degenerate. Yeah, I hate these people. If this isn't stuck to, I will just buy bins for each day of the week and put the dishes in there myself. This is not something I'm willing to compromise on, especially with how exhausting and draining dishes are for me. The bin system could also mean that whatever's in those bins doesn't have to get done on the day it's for, just that they'd get done by the person assigned to that day eventually. So if someone can't do theirs on the specific day, they can always do them later, and no one has to worry about doing extra dishes that aren't from their days. Sleeping. Strict bedtimes and wake-up times are something that is primarily for children, not a 22-year-old adult, especially for someone with a sleeping disorder. It's not my fault if I can't stick to it. Not warning me I have to get up early until right as I'm doing my bedtime routine on weekends is really upsetting, as it interrupts my planning, and autism means I need a lot of warning before plans change, especially because on weekends I've already set plans to be up late with my friends. We love you, wet or dry, Stardust. Thank you. Oftentimes you cut into my bedtime routine time. You should at least try to use the bathroom before then. When you cook really late and push my dishes chore late, it forces me to do my bedtime routine really late, and I'm expected to just go to bed after. I need at least an hour of fun time before bed, or I will be very depressed the next morning. Emotional / respect / health. Not letting me have a large backup supply of sports drinks when I have a disorder that means I need an excessive amount of salt in my body is not good for me, especially when you guys are also drinking it. It's extremely hot outside, and I can't keep up with chores as well because I have a disorder that makes me incredibly susceptible to heat, especially when you are also drinking the thing I need to make it less of a problem. Expecting me to complete tasks when my POTS is acting up is really not useful and kind of ableist. I tried to ignore the symptoms when they got bad before in order to complete tasks, but they've gotten progressively worse over time, presumably due to me not taking care of those symptoms in order to complete tasks. When you are upset with me, you need to learn to treat me with respect and like I am an adult. Treat me how you want to be treated. If you're upset with me, tell me after you've cooled down, because you both have a tendency to snap at me when you're upset. You treat me like my forgetfulness is a horrible crime that I haven't done on purpose, or that I'm using as an excuse when I don't complete tasks, even though I have multiple mental health issues that make me forgetful. Zena especially treats me like I'm in the way or a nuisance whenever I leave my room. Zena regularly tries to keep me from interacting with a dog. Using a singular action or one-time occurrence as a gauge for how I'll act for the rest of time, and not a mistake that can be resolved or avoided in the future. Deemed to be someone who is dangerous for unsafe practices that I didn't know were a problem. For example, using the cast iron or burning the edges of satin to seal it, or pretty much anything to do with my room and the dog. The cast iron I didn't know about, the satin I've done several times and never had issues. Why do you have a want to have children, honey? So they can complete tasks. Anytime my room has anything on the floor, it's deemed unsafe for the dog to be in, even though most of the time that is said, I only have clothes on the floor. Also, you act like the dog sniffing around for food means that she will find food and eat something she shouldn't. She is a dog. That is what they do when they enter rooms. Anything that could hurt her that I've accidentally dropped has been in such minuscule amounts that it wouldn't matter, and it's also food she doesn't go for. If I mention that a topic makes me uncomfortable, don't bring it up around me, and especially don't make jokes about it. If you can't remember, then keep a list somewhere. If I remind you during conversation, don't push the subject. Triggers have to be respected to nurture a safe environment. Jesus Christ, dude. Every part of my day has strict deadlines and time limits, and it genuinely feels suffocating. Had to ask before spending my own money that I earned. I shouldn't have to ask for permission, especially because it is incredibly awkward to ask permission for certain products. This is financial abuse. You often talk about me like I can't be independent or self-sufficient while also wanting me to be more independent. Never included in meals and always have to beg to be included anytime it's something I like. I get it with foods I don't enjoy, but if it's something I'd like to at least be considered. Zena randomly asked me to do research on topics and provide citations on things when I make a mistake, which is pretty excessive and not something any job or even teacher would ask me to do. Yeah, they literally run this household like it's a cult. They run it like it's a cult. They don't let this person have any time for themselves. It's a sweatshop. House agreements are used as a tool to shut down disagreements and conversations when I argue about them, but actually following them doesn't seem to be as important for anyone who isn't me. Example, we still have a rule that pots and pans should be washed immediately after use, but I'm the only one who has actually done it. I'm the only one expected to do their dishes on time. Agreements can be changed later on. They should not be something that cannot be adjusted later. You guys ask me for help a lot, and it's almost never a request and usually a demand. Having a rule that requires me to help you isn't what help is. That is a job, especially because when I ask for help, it's almost never given. I don't ask for help very often, but I'd like the request to be valued and at least followed sometimes. I want to move out because you guys infantilize me and exclude an excessive amount of I want to move out because you guys infantilize me and exude an excessive amount of control over my life. You treat me like I'm incapable of taking care of myself, but I already take care of myself. I do all of the housework. I make all my own food. I've been successful in school and have kept up with my jobs when I was working. I know how to take care of myself and how to take care of a household. I know multiple people around my age of the same or worse mental health state as me, or the same disability as me, who are living independently and doing well. The only steps that are missing for my independence are driving and knowing how rent and taxes work. I do not want to stay in this house if the things on the above list are not changed. They run it like abusers or like human traffickers, to be honest. It's using psych to control. Spawn's diagnosis does require structure, and these two are using it to abuse. I wanted to do everything you've been doing, just not as stupid and ID driven as you. You don't. You just blackmailed your kid on stream. Yep, and I would do it again. Wow. What a piece of shit. Okay. Wow. What a really. You know, how is it possible for you to look like a 60-year-old grandma and not even be anywhere near that age? Google Doc of Poppy and Zena's abuse of their kid. Google Doc of Poppy and Zena's abuse of No Flake. Just a second. Let me see. No Flake. Still doubling down, apparently. Wow. Okay. This isn't polyamory. It's poppy-amory. What does that mean? Okay, yeah, dude. Testimony of abuse from Poppy's child in Melena's blog. Blog by Ciara Rain, victim, former friend, mod, and Twitter. Blog by former mod of Zena and Poppy. Blog by Courtney Orchard. Call out thread by Dormiu, victim, ex-member. Call out thread by friend of No Flake, victim, ex-partner. Call out thread by Gayfesh. Call out thread by Crimson's app pick, former fan. Comment by Quill, victim, ex-love interest. Zena and Poppy master post by Melina, victim / ex-partner. Jeez, dude. There's so much. There's so much. TLDR, Poppy is a sex pest and wants a harem and preys on mentally ill people to be poly. It's a lot of allegations. Yeah. Is this textbook definition of main character syndrome or what? I don't know. I don't know how this person does not... How do these people not realize how they're acting? Proof of Zena and Poppy's emotional abuse of No Flake ended up leading up to the trip, and how they coerced and abused her into going on the trip, even after she expressed not being interested in continuing the relationship. October stream about personal drama. The now hidden clip from their stream in October about how poppyamory works. It's half an hour, but if you want to see what they had to say in public, it's pretty revealing. So wait, they did a response to Spawn, right? We should probably look at that first. The weaponization of Adrian, addressing... Oh, thank you, Snicker Snack. I see you posted it. Let's look at that. Holy moly. So we just read this. This person is a piece of shit. All of them are. Keeping that up in another tab. I can't believe they blocked me as well. Wait, why do I have notifications? Okay. Damn, imagine being so degenerate and as a leftist that you even lose gay fesh. Yeah, it's wild. Thank you, Snicker Snack, for the link. Dude, if gay fesh can't be associated with you, like, fuck.
I have a lawyer on retainer. If you do not take this stuff down, I will start pursuing legal action, and you
Which
will...
one is which? Which one's Poppy? Which one's Zena? Why do they always stream together?
never reconcile with me.
Poppy's on the left. Okay.
Before I get into the content of this,
Also, thank you for the $10, Dave Williams. Very much appreciate it. Guys, if you like the content, please consider liking the YouTube stream and consider becoming a member and super chatting. Greatly appreciate it.
want to establish some ground rules. If I see people in chat lashing out or saying anything dumb, you will just be hidden from the channel. Second, this is going to be separated into two sections. The first is going to be us talking about our experience and kind of discussing how this stuff is impacting us.
I would donate to pay for Spawn's legal expenses if these two pursue legal action against him. They're content creators. What are they gonna sue Spawn for? Let's be real. They're content creators. If you're gonna sue for defamation, it's not gonna hold up in a court. You are big enough content creators that they're gonna throw it out. They're gonna laugh you out of the court. And if they do proceed, you're gonna lose. What are you gonna do? You can't do. Dude, they want to do a civil defamation case. It will get laughed out before it even hit trial. I think they would just sue to waste his time and money, even if they brought frivolous. They don't even have to bring frivolous. Even if you have a legit case of defamation against somebody, if you're a public figure, you are not going to get anywhere with it. If you are a content creator, you will not get anywhere with it. It's incredibly hard to sue anybody for defamation if you are a content creator of any size. Sorry. You've waived it. You've waived your right to it. Yeah, hopefully everyone knows that being embroiled in drama on the internet is a negative financial impact for small creators. The standard for defamation is hella high for public figures, yeah. And guess what? The standard for being a public figure is hella low. So these guys, these people, they definitely fit under a public figure or content creator. That they are considered public figures. They will go nowhere with a defamation case. I would love to see them try, honestly. I would love to see them try and get thrown the out.
Second one is going to be after we get our document together.
Okay, Abaddon6 says, Stardust, this person hit on a person as they described their own sister having incestually sexually abused her since a child. Poppy hit on this person during and after they were telling their story. What the f? So Poppy isn't sane or logical in any way. They need to be locked up.
And get our screenshots together, and we go through with the people involved with that to refute some of the claims that are being made about us.
You have to prove that they are saying what they're saying is not only false, but the person saying it knows that it's false. Yeah, but even beyond that, like as a public figure, defamation cases go nowhere if you're considered a public figure. Stars, you look different than usual. Did you get your hair done? I'm banana mode today. I'm banana mode today because my hair is drying and I don't want to blow dry it and stuff. So yes, Lily Orchard's sister. Jesus Christ. These people are... I need all the lore on these people. I never watched them. I'd never even known of their existence prior to this drama. What's with all the pockmarks on Zena's arm? I'm not sure. I think people not understanding the multiplier for drama hitting the internet is a blind spot for a lot of people that partake in internet drama. So you did kind of get your hair done. Not really. I don't want to blow dry my hair. And it looks weird right now with the way that it's drying, so.
Secret that two very stupid documents got released. One of them is somehow fallaciously claiming that we coerced No into letting us come out, but they'll let us, and she had her choice and she made one. And then, you know, from there, people just go dumb and ignore what she did. That's not what we're talking about today. The second document is the one that's kind of important. As much as what No did to me is awful, it is only one betrayal. This one in particular sucks for everyone involved. So the third thing is do not harass anybody we talk about tonight. If I see evidence of that, you will be banned.
Snickersnack says, I have done a crash course on these people. I regret it, but it also has made me feel extremely better about myself. Snickersnack, Can you give me some resources where I can get all the down low on these people? Like, goddamn, I need to know.
From our community.
I'm gonna be following this. I think I'm gonna be following this drama for quite some time, to be honest, because it's just it's so egregious, honestly.
Bless.
The most people could do is just block away from stuff, not have to interact with DMs with anyone you don't want to.
So while we're working on our document,
I wanna be dedicated to covering this specific drama over the next few days. Star, I DM'd you a link on Twitter. Okay, thank you. Not only that, Poppy sent furry incest porn to Courtney Orchard, and it's been revealed in their fuck list that Poppy's into incest, both sibling and parental, as kinks, and no interracial. What the? How can you be into sibling kinks, but you're not into interracial? Can I just say how ironic it is that, you know, the wokest people on the left are like, that is so wild. Interracial is like the most vanilla you could be into. You're into sibling, but no interracial. Oh my gosh. Well, most siblings are the same race. That's true. What the? Interracial is literally one of the most common things. It's so normal. And no interracial. It's so funny. Some of the wokest people on the left, love that Alabama style kind of. They love Alabama style. You know? Wow. They love that those Alabama customs, that's for sure. They're also racist. Oh, okay. I don't think somebody's racist because they don't have like an interracial kink, but I do think it's very funny that of all the kinks that they have, the most vanilla one is not on their list. You know? Sorry, you're mad late to this shit, Lamau. Dude, I can't believe I've been missing out on this. You guys need to tell me when this kind of drama is going down. I'm always the last person to know. That's why I wasn't on it. Like, you know, I literally am never informed about this stuff. Where do you guys even go to keep up on this stuff? Who tells you when drama is breaking like this, you know? I will say so much of the far left that's ultra woke is also ultra racist, but yeah, it goes deeper than that. What goes deeper than the interracial kink? Oh my god. I missed some of it, so I'm glad you're late. LOL. Okay. All this nonsense is enough for one 9-hour stream. Holy dude. I might have to spend the next few streams going over this. Crazy. Twitter for me? Wait, but like, how do you where on Twitter do you find it? Because I feel like I'm in tune to a lot of things, and this is one of those dramas that I was not aware of until like a day ago. Reddit mostly. I think I saw a random post on r/Destiny about it. Dude, I need my own like drama team. I do have a drama channel in the Discord if you're a member or a Twitch subscriber. If you're a member on YouTube or a Twitch subscriber, you get access to the drama channel on the Discord. And if you guys see like this, like the day that it's coming out or like the moment that it's starting to boil over, just link it. Okay, I want to know all the deets. I want to know all the drama too. It is big on Tumblr too. Yeah, I had no idea about any of this. I'm always the last one to know about these dramas. Always. I heard about it first like a week ago from seeing Gay Fesh posted on Twitter. Yeah. Malcolm covered this when it first dropped, and he's been on the front lines like a good gay soldier. I like Malcolm. Gay Fesh. I actually don't know that guy, but just say it randomly. Gay Fesh is like, Gay Fesh hates my guts, you know? Gay Fesh hates my guts. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, guys, you should join the drama channel on the Discord. I had that too once on Tumblr. Wait, what? Tumblr's always been around.
I wanted to say something because obviously it's important. The second document is about my child, Adrian, or who is going by online as Spawn. I'm not going to play that game. I know what their preferred name is. I also know what their legal name is, but we're gonna stick with their preferred name. Adrian is my 24-year-old. When I met Adrian's mother, I was 17. We started dating when I was late 18 or 19. I believe in hindsight that I was groomed into that relationship. I stayed, even though my ex was 3 months pregnant, and decided to stay because I wanted a child to have a parent. In that case, a father, but obviously it's changed. In 2004, my wife, Juliana, was killed in a horse riding.
Wow, right off the bat uses his actual name. Groomed? How old was the mother again? And why is you being groomed relevant to this? Dude, I think part of it also is I'm not in touch with like the super far left side of Twitch poll. So I think that's why I was late to this drama as well. She was younger. How the could they be groomed when they were older? No one knows, but now she's saying she was groomed. And that could be I do some hate following, lol. I'm too big of a public figure, I think. And I'm not a big public figure, but I'm too well known to hate follow people, at least on the left. you know? I wouldn't call any of these people leftist, lol. Oh, really? Just racist white people who are poor and so think communism will help them, in my opinion. Are they communists? That's even funnier if they're communists. I mean, I bet they are communists. Nah, they are lefties. Most people don't even know who P and Z are. They're too insular and insignificant. They are demon mama insane lefties. They seem like the type, lol. Yeah, guys, just keep me in the loop, man, because I'm always the latest. I'm always so late to this drama. I think I just grouped all the lunatics together. I don't know. I need people to like tell me where they get their sources for drama too, because I feel like I'm always catching up. And you know, I don't like I'm not good at like talking to people and finding out stuff. I don't know. For all intents and purposes, you could pin me down as conservative, but I have a good eye for finding dramas, no matter the political side, lol. Dude, Snickersnack, anybody who is like good at finding drama, I'm just gonna start adding people to the drama chat. That's it. You know, I just want to know what's going on. That's all. Did you start with the Spawn doc or did you go over the rape doc? I started with the Spawn doc vodka. We just finished it, actually. So let's listen to this. Sorry.
And it left me as a single parent. I made some bad choices.
I just am so sad because I'm always behind, you know? I'm always so behind.
I will say for probably the first 8 years of my kid's life, I struggled a lot. Adrian is autistic. They're also ADHD.
I'm so tired of people weaponizing their own problems to use against others. So toxic, yeah. Don't worry, the drama is going to continue. Zena and Poppy have a part 2 upcoming where they go over the receipts. Wow. Okay. Don't worry. Okay, yeah, I'm excited then. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start really focusing on this drama because holy shit. But I need other dramas to cover too. But yeah, we're catching up on this. So I do want to see what she says about being groomed.
Never reconcile with me.
Because she said she was groomed. I don't know how old her partner was at that time. They have the lol-cow gene. We are gonna be able to milk buckets out of them. I'm so excited. I can't believe how quickly they blocked me on Twitter though. I'm gonna have to log into an alt.
Before I get into the content of this, I want to establish some ground rules. If I see people in chat lashing out or saying anything dumb, you will just be hidden from the channel. Second, this is going to be separated into 2 sections. The first is going to be us talking about our experience and kind of discussing how this stuff is impacting us. The second one is going to be after we get our document together and get our screenshots together and we go through with...
Stars, how much are you covering the P. Diddy / Puff Daddy stuff? I haven't been the best at keeping track of that, but that could be another one that I latch onto for the next week or so, if you guys are interested enough in it. I'm not that great at finding drama, and I avoid being in it like the plague, but I can be quite a stinker sometimes when it comes to fanning the flame. I love that, though. That's so good. It's getting rank? For real? The P. Diddy... I heard that one of the rappers filed for divorce from one of his wives because of the drama. Okay, sorry, let me resume.
People involved with that.
ADHD, autism, when I was young, you guys just had to deal with it. Yeah, so I don't have autism. I do have ADHD though, but I certainly don't use my ADHD as an excuse the way that these people do. It's crazy.
To refute some of the claims that are being made about us. It's no secret that 2 very stupid documents got released. One of them is somehow fallaciously claiming that we coerced No into letting us come out, but they'll let us and she had her choice and she made one. And then, you know, from there, people just go dumb and ignore what she did. That's not what we're talking about today. The second document is the one that's kind of important. As much as what No did to me is awful, it is only one betrayal. This one in particular sucks for everyone involved. So the third thing is do not harass anybody we talk about tonight. If I see evidence of that, you will be banned from our community. Simple as.
The most people could do is just block away from stuff. Not have to interact with DMs with anyone you don't want to.
So while we're working on our document, we wanted to say something because obviously it's important. The second document is about my child, Adrian, or who is going by online as Spawn. I'm not going to play that game. I know what their preferred name is. I also know what their legal name is, but we're going to stick with their preferred name. Adrian is my 24-year-old. When I met Adrian's mother, I was 17. We started dating when I was late 18 or 19. I believe in hindsight that I was groomed into that relationship.
Yeah, so I just want to know how old Spawn's mother was, you know? Usher's talking about being 13 and spending a year at Diddy's place and how messed up it is. Damn! Oh my god. Usher got involved? Oh my god, I have to see it. Reading that first really set the stage for how manipulative Poppy and Zena are. Oh wait, you guys think I should read the Noah Flake stuff first or I should watch this? Let me just watch this first. She was 19. Poppy was 17. Not grooming. Even if they were groomed, how is that relevant to this, you know? Stars, want me to send you links on Discord? That would be helpful. I always love that, yeah.
Relationship. I stayed, even though my ex was 3 months pregnant, and decided to stay because I wanted a child to have a parent. In that case, a father, but obviously it's changed. In 2004, my wife, Juliana, was killed in a horse riding accident, and it left me as a single parent. I made some bad choices then. I will say for probably the first 8 years of my kid's life, I struggled a lot. Adrian is autistic. They're also ADHD. I only knew about one of those things. And it wasn't until they were about 6 is when I started going to therapy and trying to deal with the loss of my wife. I also realized that the relationship I was in was toxic and that we needed to do better with parenting. Adrian's a very willful kid. If they want something, they will do everything they can to get it. One of the big issues is that they would have sort of these clash of wills with my significant other at the time. And this became a pattern. Even as I did my own personal work and I improved, Adrian regularly would get this clash of wills after a certain amount of time with my others. My relationship with Zena is...
You have to put your child first. That's number one mistake here. That's number one mistake here. There's a huge Twitter rabbit hole that you can fall down in terms of people being frauds and manipulating women to fly to foreign countries. She also is now doxing her own child who didn't want name mentioned. A lot of partners in and out of their life too. Yeah. Let me tell you something, okay? My mom had to... My dad was not a good person. My mom had to, you know, divorce him. And he was not good for our family. He was not good for me or my brother. And I'll say, like, yeah, he was not a good person. And it's not like my mom's marriage was an arranged marriage, right? Very typical in Indian families. Even with all that being said, my mom still always put me and my brother first. And, you know, I'm sure she had plenty of opportunities over the years to enter relationships if she wanted to. She never entered one after that. After my dad, she never entered it. Partly, I think, because she knew how... She'd seen how many kids had to deal with, like, step-parents who didn't like them. And also partly, like, she said that she was, like, just done, you know? And I think when you have kids, it's fine to date. You know, you don't have to do what my mom did, but you still always have to put the kids first. And there's a behavioral issue going on, and you can't handle, like, the relationship and the child at the same time. Maybe you don't have a relationship. Maybe your priority is taking care of that kid, you know? Maybe that's the priority. I don't know. Your kids having these many issues, like, they have to be number one. Leap Dave Williams, thank you for the $5. Again, this is main character syndrome. Both of these people are fixated on finding ways to be victims, to stay in media attention, and make money. Wild.
Big issues is that they would have sort of these clash of wills with my significant other at the time. And this became a pattern. Even as I did my own personal work and I improved, Adrian regularly would get this clash of wills after a certain amount of time with my others. My relationship with Zena is no different. By the time Adrian came into the picture, by the time Zena came into the picture, Adrian was already an adult. They'd already graduated high school. They were either 18 or 19 at the time.
I think I might have first met them a couple times at 17. Yeah, they graduated that year.
Yeah, 18 before the year ended because birthday's in March. What are the claims that are being made in this document? They are numerous and stupid, but the most important ones are that my child basically has asserted the same things they tried to gaslight me on. They claimed that that they weren't allowed to eat except at very specific times. They made claims about only being able to access the bathroom at certain times. They've made claims about us treating them poorly when they were dealing with the POTS. They have made claims about, they also made claims about us taking away the internet and several others, which we will cover in depth. But for now, we'll stick with these ones. The last year that Adrian was here was hell. Adrian refused to get a job. And between COVID pandemic money, because Adrian wanted to quit their job at Staples, they were allowed to do so. Obviously, it's their choice. And during the pandemic, they were able to collect pandemic unemployment money.
To make sure
they got around $24,000. They also had a
trust fund
that was about $27,000 that we had gotten when their mom died.
They also got massive amounts of money from Pell Grants to cover college, plus $1,500 every semester almost for scholarship. In addition to the Pell Grant.
To be clear, the reason they were in college and they went for web development was because ZZ helped them get into that program and also helped them navigate the tech side of that portion because ZZ had gone to a similar school, the same school, excuse me. The first half of my relationship with Zena was fairly clear sailing. Adrian had occasional issues, but for the most part, the two of them got along. As time went on, Adrian started regularly crossing boundaries. We also started having space issues. During the pandemic, ZZ would have to be in the living room while I worked out of the bedroom, and this room that we're in now was Adrian.
The other big thing that was going on was that very much declining at the time with multiple chemical sensitivities, very, very severely so. I had a number of health issues going on. The way that Poppy started the channel, I was doing.
I'm sorry, but your child comes first. Your child comes first. There's, that's a failure on your part. Is this supposed to be a serious video? And they do their intro with a clip of them basically blackmailing their kid and then doing Zoom edits? Classy. Yeah, wild. 27,000? Poppy, a real for charging that girl. Yeah. Or I don't know if Spawn is a girl or a boy. Or Adrian is a boy or a girl. I don't know.
Gallbladder issue, not to mention migraines were much, much worse.
Yeah. So long story short,
And they didn't have health issues either, Zena? They didn't have health issues either?
is that Adrian, when the health issues started popping up, Adrian really wasn't much of a help. They refused to learn how to deal with migraines. So a lot of things fell to me. Or when I was migraining, we just had to sort of take care of one another. On top of that, after they left their job at Staples, and after the pandemic lockdown started ending,
girl,
refused to
okay.
look for another job. Now, for some of that was fine. They were still in school. But after school ended, we looked into getting them into various programs. We wanted them to be able to be independent. We got them into the Center for Independent Living. We got them into facilitations.
I watched Lux earlier talking about Poppy, though I didn't stay long enough to understand what was going on. I timestamped Lux talking about Poppy basically being a sex pest. Damn. Yeah, I mean, if you're advertising that you're a degenerate on your Twitter page, you've got issues, right?
So here we're going to talk about Poppy and the way that she flirts publicly. Like, I'm a big fan of those shorts on you and off of you. This is not her partner.
What the?
I am literally an angelic being.
That's the next doc? Okay, I'll keep it.
Services. There was one point they were talking about joining a D&D game specifically made for autistic folks to be able to learn socialization.
We also suggested them getting with the school for more resources because they had actually had a really great program to help get their students into employment. They had a wonderful program for that.
We also started working with a social worker to be able to help them become more independent, and we would regularly as a family go to those. In fact, there are still signed documents that give access to their health benefits. The reality of the situation is that Adrian has always...
How are they going to dispute all of the receipts that... I mean, okay, I will give them this, okay? They post a lot of just Discord screenshots of them complaining about stuff, but things like this, and like some of the screenshots of the text messages, like, I don't know how they're gonna dispute that. But maybe there's more context that we're missing. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Exaggerated things in order to get sympathy. The two ways that they tend to be manipulative is either through trying to get sympathy through exaggerated memes, and not
it's
knowing
so hard to
in order for someone
explain.
to pay attention to them in order to get the person to do it for them. This was something that happened a lot. Adrian would be asked to do a task. Adrian would then eventually feign not knowing how to do it. They would screw it up, or they would just take forever doing it because they willfully were mad and didn't do it. And often tasks that should have taken 10 minutes took an hour because Adrian would dick off on them.
Adrian made it clear they would rather, and we're kind about this part, but like they made it clear to us that they would rather listen to music and take more time to do things than, try and do it more quickly without music, without a phone involved, right? Because if you're constantly on YouTube, like that kind of interfere with your task, doing a task sometimes.
So let's go over these claims. We will go over receipts at another time because we were still trying to get those together. We are going through 3 years of DMs, through 3 years of text messages, through all the claims in their incredibly poorly put together document that someone else put together for them, obviously. I also want to make it clear that despite people's attempt to drama monger on this, 61% of that document is just Discord vent channel. I want to be clear that a Discord vent channel is not evidence. Anyone
That's true. I will give them that. I will give them that. That is true.
can come into a Discord vent channel and lie about whatever. And Adrian did often because it got them sympathy. So give you an example. We just named off how much money Adrian had. I'm not going to count the Pell Grants because some of that went towards school and all that. We'll cover just the amounts that I have off the top of my head. 24,000 and 27,000. Because Adrian didn't want to get a job, their pandemic money went towards their rent and things. When they became an adult and they started working, the agreement was they would pay a small amount of the bills. This was to help them learn independence and to keep up with this stuff, which is fine.
And to contribute at various...
And we were still sharing groceries at this point, so they were paying into that. What ended up happening eventually when lockdowns ended, Adrian didn't want to get a job because they were trying to focus on school, which we allowed. And so the money from their pandemic money went to rent and things. But eventually, when lockdowns ended and they got done with school, Adrian regularly would put resumes in filled with things about sales work rather than anything to do with tech, and then send these into these tech companies for jobs that they were not qualified for. This happened a lot. And so one of the big problems is that Adrian sat there in their room most of the time on Discord talking to them.
Yeah. There were enough screenshots of Zena and Poppy talking to Spawn for me. Yeah, so she does say like 60% of it is just like vent channel stuff. But what about the other 40%? The other 40% is still those are screenshots. There are screenshots. I don't know. I think doing a stream, dragging your kids says something regardless of who started it. Yeah. There were a couple of gnarly ones in the document that were screenshots of messages from Zena and Poppy. That is evidence. Yeah, it is. You're right.
Their friends. At one point, we had found out that they had spent nearly $2,000 on furry art and toys from the show The Batman, circa 2004. $2,000. I know because I'm the one that counted it. So
over a very short period of time.
Yeah, over a very small amount of time. This kid would regularly go on clothing runs and shop, and which was fine sometimes. Like there were times they genuinely needed clothes, and there were other times they would just buy random stuff, like a whole of stuffed animals.
They would go to the grocery store, come back with armloads of bags, and half of it would be stuffed animals or something.
Yeah, and so the issue is that what quickly was a sizable
She's an
amount
adult,
of money
right? So
started
it's their own
dwindling quickly.
money.
And we tried to intervene by saying, okay, here's the deal. It's our money, but here's what I want you to do. Before you make a large expenditure, I would like you to talk to me. That's not a permission thing. I just want you to talk to me so we can discuss the expenditure. Adrian reframed this in their Discord vent to they had to seek permission, which was never the case, and then proceeded to have their friends tell them that this was a form of financial abuse. Now, to be clear, financial abuse as defined in domestic abuse relationships is something like a husband giving their wife a very small allowance, enough to get like gas and cover her basic expenditures, but nothing more so she doesn't have the resources to leave.
Yeah, it restricts your movement greatly as far as
This is not what we were doing. Adrian still had a shared bank account with me where they still had access to all of this money.
they never lost access ever.
In fact, when they left, as a side note, the remaining 13,000, because that's all that was left by the end, basically disappeared overnight because they emptied out their accounts and didn't tell anyone they were leaving. We knew they were going to be moving out soon, but they left in an incredibly duplicitous way to the point where I had to make a second bank account because I wasn't sure if Adrian was going to come back for the rest of my money. And Bill's.
Chase says, my kid didn't learn how to handle my disability. My kid was taking too long on task. My kid was spending their money in ways I didn't improve. So she's misusing her money, but still paying rent. So somehow that means she needs to do everyone's dishes. I don't know. Okay, but they were controlling about so much. We all saw the list. Yeah. Zena also doesn't have a job and never did throughout all of this. That's a good point as well. Why are they focused on making Adrian independent when the partner isn't even independent?
I'll collect from my checking. So guess what? Fuck that. I want you to understand that one of the issues in our relationship often, and the reason why I'm doing a lot of talking right now is because Zizi's talked this stuff to death to everybody. The reason I'm talking about it is because I had to come to some realizations on this. It took me a long time to really understand the depth of what Adrian was doing because of my previous screw-ups as a parent. I had a tendency to dissociate when Adrian would get upset. And so what happened was I would get dissociated.
Okay, maybe you shouldn't be a parent. Like, holy.
I would start defending them, and this would cause an argument until eventually I did enough personal work in EMDR to realize that I was being manipulated. So I stopped letting that happen.
The other part was that I had to get very good at documenting what happened and what all was said, what was going on, because the stories that Poppy was being told not matching up.
Yeah, we were literally getting two different stories.
That is why there's a lot of text messages out there of just verbatim, this XYZ happened.
So I want you to understand the money thing. I want you to understand the dynamics where there was this constant manipulation between the two of us. Adrian is sort of escalating any description. They at one point wrote a giant list claiming there was all these ways that we were abusive to them, and literally none of these were true. They clearly came up with this with their friends on Discord. We even went over it during like a session with their social worker and discussed all like a bunch of parts of it. And like this is just their modus operandi.
There were things on there.
Yo, tell me Zena doesn't look like a goldfish right now, though. She does look kind of like a fish. I don't know about a goldfish, but she looks like a fish. Let me see if I can pull up a fish. Google images. Fish. Just a second. Let's see. Wait, is she actually saying I was at one point abusive to my child and I didn't respond well to them, so now I'm punishing them for their maladjustment to my mistreatment? That's gigatoxic. Yeah, it is gigatoxic. She looks kind of like this fish. She looks more like a blobfish to me. Yeah, she looks kind of like this. Yo, I could put this person's face over her, and it just fits. It just fits. In fact, I think it looks better.
That made no sense that we couldn't even figure out what they were. This was like 4 pages, single spaced, and like a lot of it just didn't even make sense. Things that had either never happened or were just so vague that we didn't know what it was. And so even if there were things in that press, there was no way to address any of it in that format.
So what I want to do real quick is I'll read something that I had previously written for somebody who asked this question, and I'll just go over that because it's a lot easier. What I want to say is that I'm going to try to cover these claims as quickly as I can, but I'm going to try to be thorough, okay? So that's the money claim. Adrian always had access to their money. They always had the ability to do things. There was just a request to check in. They often broke this request. This includes with buying a Geiger counter, tons of stuffed animals and things like that. Again, I want to be clear.
Or they would lie to us about how much they wanted to spend on a stuffed animal, and would later find out that it would cost twice as much as what they told us.
And so what ended happening was like a kid who had between everything over the course of a 3-year period, so 2020,
this one's much better.
I think it was like when they left in 2023, they went from $51,000 to $13,000. And we were told that we were abusive by them because we told them to slow down.
This one.
So that's the money claim. I'm going to read you what I wrote somebody from our server because they asked about this. They were another parent and they wanted to hear from me what actually happened. So let me give you the best I can out of this. So one of the claims that was made against us was food. Supposedly we starved our kid. And there was a horrible schedule that rigidly kept them from the bathroom or food or various other things. A whole bunch of other stuff around that. So I'll just read this and you guys tell me your thoughts. So the schedule thing is something that we had house agreements on. Adrian is a person with ADHD and autism, and while working with their social worker, we devised a schedule for them. Schedules are helpful for people with ADHD. This is a provable fact. So my child had specific times that they would cook meals, both because it was a step towards independence and because we have a small kitchen. Adrian never ate the same meals as us, and having 3 people cooking 2 meals in the kitchen was impossible. An example would be dinner. Adrian was supposed to cook at 7 p.m. so that we could cook at 8 p.m. Occasionally, Adrian would lose track of time or dick off on Discord and miss that window despite being verbally reminded and having alarms on their phone. At 8 p.m., we would start cooking, and Adrian would attempt to do the same, which was not great. We allowed this to happen several times until finally we made it clear that they need to stick to their schedule or wait until we were done. This usually meant that they ate it around the latest around 9 p.m. They also had snacks in their room, could go get fast food, or order something in which the latter they did often.
I knew they'd use the therapist to justify this. Yeah. Yeah, I do have to say, though, this was a really good point by Eli. She's actually saying I was at one point abusive to my child and I didn't respond well to them. So now I'm punishing them for their maladjustment to my mistreatment. Yeah. Damn. Terrible. Two people can't fit in the kitchen for 5 minutes. Yeah, especially when one of them is just microwaving.
Usually through Grubhub or things like that, as expensive as that is. There was no way they couldn't get food. In fact, like, there's a gas station just like a block down the street they could just go to and get stuff. We are super near a whole bunch of fast food places, and ones they like.
Our entire location is real close to the grocery store, fast food, gas stations, whatever you need. It's actually really close by. They regularly would walk everywhere.
One of the problems
They have pots. They couldn't walk everywhere because it was too hot outside. They covered that in the dock.
is that ADHD people, especially when they're on stimulants, have to be reminded to eat. Adrian had alarms on their phone. They would ignore them. They would silence them and just go back to what they were doing, either with an art project or gabbing with their friends on Discord, being incredibly loud. So I want to.
Why don't you just let them cook? Yeah, even how is it have them having a separate time to use the kitchen from you, encouraging independent? You can still be independent and eat together like a family. Like, it's just, it makes no sense. Like, your child can learn to be independent while you guys still eat together as a family. Hi, Brea Propo. It makes no sense. It just sounds like you don't want this person around.
Be clear, when we go over this in full, I'm going to be looking at our checking accounts on stream. I've redacted a bunch of stuff, but I want to show you their meal expenditure money because I can show you just 3 random months I've picked, and you can see Grubhub, you can see pizza. This kid ate out often, and there were several times they'd eat at home because Adrian never ate with us. So one of the big issues I had with them when they were young was Adrian would never eat with us. We eventually had to work with a dietitian because Adrian refused to eat the same things as us, to the point where they basically just had to live off of like fruit, macaroni and cheese, and a few other clear things. This was due to their autism, certain textures with them. I didn't know what autism was at the time because I was a dumb kid.
Well, and apparently no one could figure out how to diagnose autism.
Well, because Adrian is AFAB and that gets missed.
It's the 90s.
And, well, in this case, it was the 2000s.
Right after the 90s, but it wasn't very far out, so.
So I want to make it really clear that, like, this kid always had access to food. The only request was, please don't cook at the same time as us. But Adrian escalates this to being some kind of claim that we didn't let them eat, even though they had access to food. There was food all around the area. They regularly went to the gas station down the street to buy Chex Mix, gummy bears, and various other things. They always had food. In fact, we often would go to Costco and buy them the big thing of Costco Kirkland sports drinks because we would share that with them because with their pots, they needed to keep up on being hydrated.
There's always the protein versions of granola bars. I worked with them numerous times to figure out what one liked. I talked over with them, get a chance to try things if I could get a sample or something.
I'll get back to the room thing in them eating in a second because there's an important side note to that. But let's move on. One of the claims against this was they can only use the bathroom at certain times. This is a nugget of truth, but really, really escalated to the point of stupidity.
I can give on this.
Sure, I'll read the paragraph I wrote and then go from there. As to the bathroom, there was no schedule except for in the mornings and at night. I had to get ready for work, and Adrian got into the habit of taking over the bathroom, which made me late several times. We told them that either they needed to get up earlier or wait. That's it. At night, we structured time for them to shower because they were skipping showers, and when they did take them, they were during my work day, which would cause interruptions in my sessions because the pipes in the wall were loud. So what we did is try to negotiate them either taking showers at night or taking showers earlier than me, because I would usually get up for work around 10 to start work with clients at like 11. You wanted to fill in some stuff?
Yeah. The other big thing to keep in mind is that we didn't have very long breaks. Adrian knew that between sessions, Poppy's got maybe about 7 minutes total. Literally, that's it.
Maybe 15 at most if I can pull it, but yeah.
Yeah, but like realistically speaking, like that, it depends on the day. It just depends on which sessions to which one. So, you know, if Poppy needs to run out of the bathroom between sessions, she needs to go to the bathroom. The other big issue that we were having with Adrian was that I had physical therapy for treatment of migraines. And no matter how many times we gave them warning of which days that would be, when I needed the bathroom to get ready.
Because we have a very small bathroom. We have a bathroom.
Yeah, it's time. We don't live in a very big place. And seriously, so they were asked, and I would notify them, you know, the day before, the day of, right when I needed stuff. Right when I needed the bathroom, I tried all kinds of different things. They would always be in the bathroom when I needed to be getting ready for my appointment. And so I would oftentimes be kind of late to my appointments because they decided right then that that's when they needed to use the bathroom. And they would never...
Often because the only remembering was that someone else was using it or someone was walking around doing stuff. So that would be the reminder for them. The problem was that...
I would literally send them texts 2 hours earlier going, dude, I have an appointment. Hey, I've got an appointment. Please make sure you use the bathroom beforehand. Like, it's really hard for me to get ready. Also, I have ADHD and migraines. I'm going to this for migraines. Like, it was a struggle to get me ready to go to appointments and to drive.
This is what I continue to say. Nothing of the above is unreasonable, and we have house agreements and bank statements to prove our side. The text messages are usually from our...
This is why I want a floor plan star, because of this angle they use. Yeah. Damn, dude. So no bathroom during the day, essentially. Yeah, that's weird. You should always be treating your children better than you treat your friends. I'm curious what their dynamics are with other people. Kind of comforting knowing these two have a hospice tier nursing home in their future with the nurses imaginable. Jesus.
Between Zizi and Adrian, and are missing the in-person parts off in the resolution. So what I mean by that is A small percentage of those of that document is actually text messages or anything that could be considered receipts, because I just don't count the 61% Discord venting. That is just, vent channels are made for lying. That's my personal opinion. And Adrian would usually escalate things to get sympathy. So one of the problems was ZZ would put things in writing, usually through
No showering during the day is not no bathroom. 10 is not early.
because it would allow them to have those things in writing, so Adrian couldn't lie about them later. One of the problems is that Adrian, there would be the debate over the course of Signal, but when we would sit down to have a house meeting or we would sit down to resolve these issues, which did happen up until the last, like, I want to say 6 months or a year, those were in person. There are meeting notes from those.
Yep, they're years and years worth of meeting notes.
But there's not text messages. So Adrian doesn't have access to those folders anymore because they were taken off of them when they moved out. We'll be going over those another time, but that's the problem. You're being given a snapshot of a much larger process of a problem slowly comes about. Adrian is not honest or direct about the problem. And then what ends up happening is there's conflict over text message, and then there is a resolution that happens in person when we have our weekly house meeting. We've covered this before on this channel. We literally covered house meeting. Last thing, the person said they didn't like the tone that Zena had used towards Adrian. This was my take on it. I have to see the specific screenshots again, but honestly, I don't think Zena was in the wrong here. As to the tone thing, I have no idea what that's about. My only guess is that the messages involved were towards the end of the interactions with Adrian. That time was rough. Adrian refused to get a job, would say that they wanted to take classes for independence, then just not, and left their room a disaster area with food on the floor. The worst was chocolate chips due to the granola bars that nearly poisoned our dog. I will admit that my tone may have been more cold than...
No shower during the day. Even in prison, do they have those rules? I don't know. I lived with an abusive drunk for a few years, and they did family meetings, and confused any family that has to have meetings as... Yeah, you know who else does family meetings? You know who else used to do family meetings? I think he might still try to do them, but you know who else? Ben Thorpe. Ben Thorpe used to have family meetings with all of his family members, and he would have them put on YouTube. And it would be like all of the family members, and they would be in a call, and it would be him lecturing them. It's horseshoe theory. It's like horseshoe theory of abuse or something. I don't know. Jesus.
Because things had soured immensely due to the above and Adrian's regular lying. So again, Adrian had granola bars in the room for their pots, among other things. Thank you, Mr. Hidden, for the $3. And the intention was to make sure they always had like stuff to be able to handle it. Again, especially if they missed their meals, they had a number of things in the room that were snacks. What would happen is Adrian would eat like a slob because they have no table manners whatsoever, despite being taught many times to do so. And their granola bars would get chocolate chips all over the floor. Adrian also had very poor boundaries. They would regularly try to pull on, tug, or lay on the dog, to the point where Bunny avoided them.
Bun would just start walking away from Adrian, and and just go sit somewhere else behind me and Poppy.
To go further, Adrian was one of the people that took out Bun. Bun goes out usually 2 to 3 times a day. One time was me, one time was ZZ, one time was Adrian. If one of us was migrating, someone would fill in. Adrian was taken off that list because Adrian would go outside, and because
Oh, it looks like I'm gonna talk to Malcolm in a bit after this, okay? So Malcolm apparently was really filled in on all this stuff. So he's gonna talk to me about this and fill me in on a whole lot, so.
He's a rescue dog. She would bark at people if she saw them because she got scared. Adrian wouldn't pay attention. So Bunny would lose her and then pull on this, 80-pound tiny person and yank them around. Now I want to be clear. Adrian has always been tiny. That's just how they've always been. They've always been smaller than the rest of the people. This is not due to eating or any other nonsense. They've just been small. Their mom was small. Their mom also suffered from a disorder called ectodermal dysplasia, which was essentially Juliana's dad had no hair. He couldn't grow it, except for maybe little fuzzy patches. And he barely had teeth because his body didn't produce the necessary parts to do those things. JJ, or Juliana, got a lesser form of that essentially made her teeth, weaker and her hair very thin. Adrian doesn't seem to have ectodermal dysplasia, but they did seem to inherit some parts of it. That is, for example, they're literally like 5'1", 80 pounds. They're just little. That's it. They've always just been little. Back when I was a much stupider person, their nickname literally for the first 10 years of life was midget because they were just always tiny.
This was endearment. Please understand this was endearment.
This is not an offense to little people or dwarves. That's just how I call them. So Adrian had to be taken off taking the dog out because Adrian would not take care of the dog's safety needs. And we eventually had to take them off that. And this was a regular trend where Adrian would be asked to do a chore. They would off at it at some point. They would just demonstrate they knew how to do it. And then they would slowly become slower at it and slower at it and slower at it.
They're forgetting various parts, not doing all the steps.
Doing mirrors for several months and then deciding to just forget. This was a regular manipulative tactic. In fact, Adrian's own psychotherapists in testing noted this. This was one of the major things they did to get attention. They would act as though they don't need something. This is directly in writing. This is not me making this up. People can yell at me about this, but I have access to this documentation. I know this stuff because I was given the ability to do so through a medical release. I know this stuff. This is a tendency of Adrian to do this. The issue is that what's being sold in that document is a series of exaggerations, half-truths, and just...
Yeah, this is just wild. Dropping their health deeds publicly. What a mom. I will totally embarrass you publicly if you speak about me publicly. Mom of the year. Like, don't get me wrong. I think people have the right to defend themselves publicly if people make accusations against them. But, like, goddamn.
Outright lies. As far as I can tell, Adrian hates Zena.
Calling your child like an animal, saying they eat like a slob, like that's something else.
Despite the fact that Zena went out of their way to help them get into school, help them learn a number of things independently. Again, I'm not always the best parent. There were a lot of times where I just kind of let Adrian coast, and Adrian did fine in high school and all that, so I just thought it was fine.
I'm the one that taught them how to ride a bike and the planner.
Oh, trust me, I tried to get them to ride a bike for a long time. They failed at it every time.
I feel like good moms handle accusations against them much more tactfully than this. Yeah, there's definitely a PR move that could have been done here that was not this. All this is insane. I agree. It is the responsibility of the adult to remain calm and stay loving. Yeah, I would agree with that.
But
well, they figured it out by adulthood, so.
But this is my point, is that like what's being sold in there and what's being touted by these people is a very, let's put it this way, a very narrow scope document that doesn't actually say anything. It's just a lot of Adrian being dishonest.
To be honest, none of these people are parents. Like, the thing that I keep noticing is that they're not parents. Like, we had right, Poppy and I are adults. We're dealing with an adult child, all right, but still an adult who's also very neurodivergent. And like trying to navigate how to still interact with this person on an adult to adult level, still get them skills is really difficult.
It's not normal to jump on stream even if your kid is terminally online. Yeah, well, it seems like they're terminally online too. I mean, I almost wonder also, like, how healthy is the family relationship if all of the family members are terminally online?
Genuinely, we're not. Because of all the confusion with Adrian's, abilities and what they were acting, we genuinely were not sure if at some point they were going to need, like, guardianship or to be in a supervised living situation. We were very concerned.
Because they were, that's
how bad, yeah.
And the issue is that we got them tested numbers of times. That's where their autism testing came. Because I didn't realize they had autism. Autism's kind of a blind spot for me. It's something I've had to work through as a clinician. And so the issue is that Adrian ended up getting a bunch of testing done, and that helped a lot. In fact, there was a really golden period where Adrian was getting their stuff done. They were doing great in school. They were helping with chores around the house. There was no problems. They were on their Lexapro and just rocking. And then something snapped, and I don't know what it was, but they just started not caring. Now, to come to the chores real quick, I want to talk about this. People have said we had this 8-hour chore list. This is simply not the case. The chore list was basically like an hour of chores a weekend.
Most of it was geared to just, hey, wipe things down. Having it done weekly meant that Adrian's ADD wouldn't get in the way and make things harder. So,
and if I remember correctly, there were things that were there weekly, and there was some stuff that was monthly. But the reason for this was, one, we didn't know, but when we made...
That's what I'm saying. This isn't communication. It's like they're more worried about the rep, not normal. Oh, the dollar store Keffels and tipster couple? Outsanity! You can't say that! You can't say that! What the f? Everyone in this situation sounds like they hate each other. At least for the kid, it's justified and understandable. This is PR, not family communication for sure. Autism is a blind spot for me. It is something I've had to work through as a clinician. Why admit that? I don't know. I think it's so wild how different they look in their pictures compared. I know this is mean of me. But it is wild how different they look, right? It's really mean of me. How old is the child? Like 22, 23? Or 23, 24?
Adrian's POTS was still not known. 1. 2, Zizi was migrating on a daily basis. 3, I was working full time. We needed help around the house, and Adrian refused to get a job. So this was their call. This was their, if they're gonna waste their money on covering their expenses.
Camera angles go brr. True. I always berate my child on Twitch when they eat like a slob. So true.
Instead of getting a job and keeping their savings, then we had them help out with things around the house just to get out of their room, because otherwise they would just stay in there. In fact,
how do they look so different? Somebody make it make sense to me. Also, I said that they look like they don't shower often in this picture. Somebody said that like was foreshadowing or something. Won't somebody think about Zena's migraine? So true. Poppy lost weight. Yeah, looks like Poppy lost weight and Zena gained weight. Which makes sense, since Zena was always in the kitchen, right? It makes sense that she would gain weight.
Adrian would want to spend time with anyone was when specifically we'd be willing to watch YouTube with them. Otherwise, they basically wanted nothing to do with us, except when they wanted to know something or ask something, in which case they would interrupt or barrel roll through anything that was going on at the time. In fact, this was one of the big issues with boundaries, is when Zizi was stuck out in the living room, the rule was made that they would have alone time between, after Adrian had lunch, so like 2:30, 3 o'clock to like, it moved around a bunch, but it was like 2:30, 3 o'clock to like 4:30, 5 o'clock, give or take. And the issue was,
it really looks like the fish really looks like her.
Coming to them.
The fish looks like her so much.
Like every 15 minutes asking questions, interrupting them when they're having their alone time. And the problem was, because Zizi was in a high traffic area, this would start really with them, because they really just wanted space, and they couldn't just go lay down in their bed in the bedroom or relax because I had the office in there at the time. That's obviously not the case now. But
I also couldn't leave the house very easily because of the chemicals.
Alone time, what is that? I feel like, yeah, as a parent, you don't really get alone time, do you? I don't know. This is like, alone time is like a white people thing, I've realized. Like in brown families, it's hard to kind of really explain the concept of personal space.
because being outside.
Walking the hallway of our
Listen.
apartment could sometimes just cause a migraine.
Yeah.
So
Now, I will clarify too.
Zena needs 2 or 3 hours a day for alone time. Yeah, kids will not give you that. Kids will not give you that. And damn. I mean, I'm not complaining. I definitely needed more alone time when I was, growing up, but in the kitchen, oh yeah. Dude.
The thing that we came up with, Adrian usually took a long time to eat anyways. We knew that, how they are. They also had some other meal times scheduled out because, again, there was a point where they started like almost blacking
Bye,
out
Mr.
and
Hidden.
falling into the cupboards, even, especially like while we were out in the kitchen trying to do stuff, and like would suddenly just not be okay. And we figured out that no, it was just that they weren't eating. They weren't getting up in the morning, eat food. They were just getting up, going on Discord with their friends, and then not have to get food. Even though like I had alone time, they were still asked to get food at 2. They were always said, we always told them, hey, even if you're not hungry, just make something. That way you're taken care of, have what you need, right? Your ADHD isn't going to make it hard for you to remember to eat later. Make your food ahead of time. They were always asked of them.
the issue is that how does this fit in everything? We'll cover this more in the second.
Fuck our child, they eat too slowly. Well, you gave them 7 to 8. Like, I don't know. It shouldn't be so strict, honestly. You guys should be eating as a family. That's a better way of making sure your child is eating. Hey, we didn't make her look like a fish. That one's on Gmail. Jesus.
But I want to give kind of like a light overview of that, and that is much like adding new characters to Smash, the hate mob but basically started coming at me probably mid last year. But where it really ramped up was with No. These people took the woman who sexually assaulted me and weaponized her. And it was at that exact time when one of those people, who will remain nameless, broke, I would say, a fairly large boundary beyond just the weaponizing my rapist. They went out of their way to go find and dig up Adrian. Adrian didn't come out of the woodwork initially.
They weaponized her rapist. Who is she claiming is her rapist, sorry. Rapist, not racist, sorry. She didn't essay her, by the way. Who is she claiming is her rapist? That's the next doc. Oh, no, the Noah person? Why are they saying that no flake, next doc star? Why do they claim that the person raped them? Someone who didn't want to have a relationship with her but had sex with her. Naola girl, I think that's the name. Someone who didn't want to have a relationship with her but had sex with her at the behest of Poppy. She broke up with her after they had sex. So that's the story of them, of the rape. I don't want to confirm or deny rapes, but it's a lie. Poppy's saying that because No Flake broke up with them after they had sex, which Poppy coerced her to. Does No Flake present contrary evidence? Mind you, Zena was in the cuck chair the whole time. Jesus. Don't get ahead of yourself, but it will blow your mind. Poppy basically begged and begged No Flake, who is asexual, to have sex. Oh, wonderful.
Found them and then brought them out and weaponized them.
And this person, a whole big post and doc and everything was made.
Again, person in question that did this, I am talking to, they have stepped out of the fray. That is my issue to deal with, no problem. The problem is that initially Adrian was going to be sending everything through this person, and then Adrian decided to strike out on their own and start doing their own Tumblr blog.
When this person decided to step down because apparent that the harassment campaign was way too fast.
And so understand that between friends who were upset about optics splitting off, such as Beyond Safe Words and a number of other people, not to mention a bunch of people getting the back of a woman they had no clue of or what she had done. They just knew that they hated me, and so they just immediately assumed I was lying for some reason. No one has yet to give me any idea of why I'm lying about, other than they claim I'm an abuser. But again, whatever. And then
apparently it counts as rape by
things.
deception.
And then these people begin a coordinated effort that sends in letters to my work that eventually gets me fired.
You want to be clear, Adrian is aware that Kiwi Barnes is
Wait,
involved.
She got fired from her job?
We are.
No one to mention a bunch of people getting the back of a woman they had no clue of or what she had done. They just knew that they hated me, and so they just immediately assumed I was lying for some reason. No one has yet to give me any idea of why I'm lying about, other than they claim I'm an abuser. But again, whatever. And then out of nowhere, my kid comes in and starts throwing out these things. And then these people begin a coordinated effort that sends in letters to my work that eventually gets me fired.
You want to be clear, Adrian is aware that Kiwi Barnes is involved, that we are targets, and they're still doing this stuff. They are still going. They decided not to take anything down. They decided to just they decided to put a short pause on posting, but would still respond to things. And then after that, that only lasted like a week or something. Not
About
even.
a week.
Yeah.
Now let's be really clear, because the thread that KF has made about me, because apparently I'm a lolcow now, yay, I finally made it. The issue is that because Adrian wouldn't walk out of the fray, they now know who Adrian is because they found their LinkedIn. The reality of the situation is that this has escalated to the point where we've actually had to talk to the FBI. We've had to contact the police so we didn't get swatted. Like, my address can be found given enough work. And the issue is that despite the suicidal ideations I dealt with for months being with No, we actually had to get my firearms back just for house safety. So when I make it clear that things have not been great, and the fact that Adrian came out at this time is additionally not wonderful, I want you to be very aware of the fact that
She didn't get fired. The boss of 20 years was made aware of the online and told her to stop. She quit. She says rape by deception because she didn't want to be in a poly relationship with these two. Malcolm has the deets. I caught part of his stream earlier. Okay. Poppy also has a very long history of mocking ace people. No Flake is only one of many asexual people Poppy mistreated. Poppy calls asexual people Puritans. Damn. You know, you might not understand it, but is it really necessary for you to, like, mock them? Like, it's the same, you know, just have some basic decency, some basic respect. I know too much about these freaks, Jesus Christ. I don't know what's in KF, but all the stuff we're talking about was on Twitter and from Poppy. Poppy at one point makes Kiwi Farm sound like the ATF. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, there's like a decently sized LGBTQ population on Kiwi Farms. Same mentality as guys trying to turn lesbians straight. It's gross to shame someone for their sexual attractions, in my opinion, so long as they are legal.
This is very much a combination of a coordinated effort of people who have no limits and are willing to risk any level of collateral damage despite a woman they hate. Now, you may ask, how do we prove all this? Well, we have years of house agreements that were signed by all of us. We have
context for the rest of the text messages. We don't just have the clips, we have the full conversations for things.
And unlike Spawn, i.e. Adrian, we're willing to get on stream and actually talk about it instead of just letting...
Okay. Kiwi Farms just dropped documentation. If people are foolish, they are foolish. Interesting. Interesting.
This doc do it for them and then they go out of town. I want to be clear that the person that also brought them out of the woodwork got lied to. Adrian lied to them and said they didn't have medical insurance.
Well, they couldn't access therapy because of it.
Let's be clear. I know how to talk to insurance, so I looked. Their insurance, as far as Medicaid is concerned, is still active. In fact, based on everything I can see, they saw their social worker recently. They're being treated for their POTS recently. To make it very clear, Adrian is lying. And I know any terrible parent can come out and say,
wait, how is she lying? What are they saying she's lying about?
You know, their kid is lying about these things, but I'm sorry, sometimes it's true. I'm not a perfect parent. I suck at it. I don't think I should have ever been a parent. But to claim that I would do something so egregious as these things is utterly insane. And the evidence that people are using for this is basically just the rantings of a vent channel from Discord, a series of text messages, and random Tumblr claims. The fact that...
Okay, but the text messages are not random text messages. Oh my God. These people are like unironic, like polycule people. It's crazy. And they're furries on top of it. Okay, I'm just gonna have to read up. Holy. She never spoke to anyone in insurance. She went into the kid's medical account. The whole world is Poppy's vent Discord. There's no context where those texts are cool. Yeah. I don't know. There'd have to be some radical twists in what isn't included in those text messages. Like, I don't
Adrian
know.
is going along with this and has let things escalate. This part isn't just putting our lives at risk and causing a safety issue. They are putting their own safety and their roommate's safety at risk. The person that they are living with is also at risk, and that person has a lot to lose. I won't say who they are or where they work, but I will say it is a fairly prestigious place, and Adrian is putting their life at risk.
I gotta be clear too. Like, even when we started the channel, we made it utterly clear to them to never get involved in online life. Talked about the risks. They were an adult. Like, we all had this conversation about what the risks were. Made it clear, dude, don't ever get involved. Doesn't matter what you think of us. Stay out of this.
It was not for them to be limited. It was because of safety, for this exact reason. At one point, Adrian wanted to start streaming. And we told them initially no, because we didn't want people making claims, because making connections, because if they saw Bunny in their streams and our streams, very easy to make that connection. There was discussions about them not having Bunny in their room. There was discussion, this was before they started making, you know, the chocolate chip problem huge.
The stream thing was also just really difficult because they weren't getting a job either. And so we were like having to pull double duty, trying to figure out like, dude, we need you to also be working on this stuff because you need to sustain yourself somehow.
So
like, how do we do both here?
How old are these people? I think this person is like in her 40s, early 40s. And then Zena, I think, is in her late 20s, early 30s. Yeah.
So again, I want to be really clear that like Adrian's leaving went like this. Adrian started looking for someone to rent a room from and move to another city. And eventually they did find somebody. We had worked with them to do independence. We had them look up things of like how you write a resume. We sent them to classes. We made sure that they
But you required your child to write essays on and keep logs of like, who does that? That's cult behavior.
What to do and how to do things. One of the reasons why we had them do chores, besides just helping us because we were dealing with a ton of illness issues, was because they needed to know how to do them on their own, because otherwise they wouldn't do them. There was concerns about their hygiene. There was concerns about this. Adrian also had a bad habit for a long time of trying to find ways to make people uncomfortable.
That wasn't a habit. That was intentional. Like, they would just outright tell me, I like making that was a thing.
Their favorite way was to wear underwear that was too small for them and then proceed to
lift their leg up in front of us. They were like
or our
sitting
guests.
on a shared.
Often it was more guests. So I want to be really clear here is that what happened is that Adrian found someone to live with. They were in the process of going back and forth between the cities to find a way to make everything work.
They didn't have a job yet or anything.
They were going to get a job in the new city, which was fine. And then what happened was this. One weekend appeared, and Adrian asked to go to the other city with the intention of getting their keys and all that. And the problem we had was they had already started moving stuff, and our concern was if they left, they were going to leave us with their room, which was a disaster area.
It was trashed. We had agreements with them already written up.
So Adrian got it in their bright mind to pop the screen out of their window, throw their bags out, walk out, say, oh, I accidentally knocked the screen out and bring it back in. Of course, we were busy at the time, so we didn't really notice. Put the screen back in, call their future roommate and tell them that they were being held or something, and decided to leave, saying they were going to go to the store when in reality they went to the other city and never came back. They also took out the 13 grand out of their account, never telling anyone. So all of a sudden I saw
Poppy just casually talking about their adult child's underwear to 10,000 people. Did I miss something? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. What did I miss?
there was discussion. This was before they started making the chocolate chip problem huge.
The stream thing was also just really difficult because they weren't getting a job either. And so we were like having full double duty trying to figure out like, dude, we need you to also be working on this stuff because you need to sustain yourself somehow.
So
like, how do we do both here?
So again, I want to be really clear that like Adrian's leaving went like this. Adrian started looking for someone to rent a room from and move to another city. And
Oh, she said Spawn would wear tight underwear and lift their legs in front of guests, essentially accusing them of flashing people.
they did find somebody. We had worked with them to do independence. We had them look up things of like how you write a resume. We sent them classes. We made sure that they knew what to do and how to do things. One of the reasons why we had them do chores, besides just helping us because we were dealing with a ton of illness issues, was because they needed to know how to do them on their own because otherwise they wouldn't do them. There was concerns about their hygiene. There was concerns about this. Adrian also had a bad habit for a long time of trying to find ways to make people uncomfortable.
That wasn't a habit. That was intentional. Like they would just outright tell me, I like making that was a thing.
Their favorite way was to wear underwear that was too small for them and then proceed to
Lift their leg up in front of us. They were like,
or as more guests. So I want to be really clear here is that what happened is that Adrian found someone to live with. They were in the process of going back and forth between the cities to find a way to make everything work.
They didn't have a job yet or anything.
They were going to get a job in the new city, which was fine. And then what happened was this. One weekend appeared, and Adrian
Yeah.
asked to go to the other city
That's so sad.
with the intention of getting their keys and all that. And the problem we had was they had already started moving stuff, and our concern was if they left, they were going to leave us with their room, which was a disaster area.
It was trashed. We had agreements with them already written up.
So Adrian got it in their bright mind to pop the screen out of their window, throw their bags out, walk out, say, oh, I accidentally knocked the screen out and bring it back in. Of course, we were busy at the time, so we didn't really notice. Put the screen back in, call their future roommate and tell them that they were being held or something, and decided to leave, saying they were going to go to the store when in reality they went to the other city and never.
Honestly, these two making fun of another person's hygiene is real rich. Yeah. I'm a little bit confused by it because they really don't look like they shower often.
They also took out the 13 grand out of their account, never telling anyone. So all of a sudden I saw a $13,000 drop in my account, which of course I got a notification for. I had to then take steps to make sure the rest of my account wasn't stolen. I also had to then go through and clean this whole room.
You think you'd at least shower before getting on stream. Yeah, and commenting on other people's hygiene.
This had food soaked into it. There was areas here that were awful. Adrian had a very large, like, high post bed, and we had to take that whole apart. That's now down in our storage area. Then Adrian whined and wanted their stuff, and so they left behind, mind you. So we put it out of the house, all safe and snug inside the hallway of our apartment, and told them they can come grab it. They came and grabbed it, gave them their stuff, no problem. We haven't heard from them since, except when some packages came because they sent them to the wrong place. Up until Adrian came out of
Not
the
your
woodwork
money,
because
she
of the
didn't
stalkers.
steal.
They had moved on with their life, and so had we. But now Adrian has decided that they want to weaponize their spite. So I want to make it really clear. You're going to go online. You're going to either find a Google Doc that has a bunch of nonsense in it, or you're going to find videos where people are going over this and talking about how true and cringe it is. I'm gonna be honest, if you actually believe that stuff without any critical thinking, you are welcome to leave. Please unsubscribe from the channel and fuck off. I do not want people in my community that do not have the slightest ability to have critical thinking or be able to withhold judgment until all people have spoken. Anyone that has watched this channel knows that we try to be as thorough as possible, try to be as clear as possible,
True.
and also try to be as open with you guys as possible. When we're struggling, we tell you. When we're dealing with stuff, we tell you. The fact that these people went out of their way not only to weaponize my rapist, but also to find my child and weaponize them is disgusting. And the fact that they pretend that that document proves anything beyond just a bunch of claims in writing in a Discord is absolutely insane. And anyone that tries to sell you that, if you want to believe them, that's cool. You do that. Never come near me again, because I feel like if I have any conversation with you, you're going to forget to breathe. One of the reasons why I'm doing the talking with this is that I'm not trying to cut ZZ off, but one of the things is ZZ has been at the forefront of trying to help Adrian, support Adrian, and they got hurt a lot by this kid. And it took me a long time to realize it. It's one of the reasons I'm speaking up now is because I wanted to speak about this in a way that made it very clear that I am 100% in support of Zena. I know why Zena was so rough. I know what all the things would happen in the house that led up to those text messages. And I'm going to be really clear. After the shit this kid pulled, including having their own dishes and letting them rot in their room for weeks, or the first weekend that
But the allegations also are that like there were tweets and screenshots that showed that these two didn't clean dishes on the regular either, right? Like, I don't know how they're gonna, like, you're setting the example for your children, right?
Deciding to use the toaster and then leaving a package of tortillas on top of the toaster that then plastic burned and filled the house with toxic smoke, which then caused a migraine for me, Zena, and Sage. We couldn't leave our bedroom. This kid would regularly start crafts projects in the house that would then cause chemical sensitivities for both of us. I would get migraines in the middle of a workday because they decided they wanted to use their hot glue gun.
We did have times where we tried to talk to them and be like, hey, if you let us know ahead of time, we can try to figure out another space for you. We can try to figure out you going outside. We can try to see if there's somebody else's house that you can be at. Like, we really did ask them to let us know so we could try and work with them on things, but they never did. This is where a lot of the line got really weird, was that
They sound exactly like Spawn portrayed them. The verbiage is literally the same. Not the hot glue gun. What hot glue guns smell? I'm also confused by that. I've used hot glue guns. They've never smelled before to me. Maybe I'm missing something.
if there was ever an offer for them to work on something with, they wouldn't do it. They would forget about it and then, or at least claim they forgot about it, and then just keep going.
Poppy even said task just like Spawn quoted. Yeah, I'm just, okay.
Keep doing the same mistakes.
No. This was the regular issue we had. I love my child. I do. I love all my kids, right? There are a number of kids that I've adopted over the years that I still take care of. Evan's one of them. Shiloh's one of them. I love Shiloh to death. I love Evan to death. I have a bunch of trans boys. They're great. We tried with Adrian for a year and really tried to give them every resource, every opportunity. And they dicked off with it and fought us tooth and nail. With the chores thing, people have made the claim that we gave them too many chores. We'll show you the list. They weren't that deep. They took maybe an hour. Except then Adrian would sit there with headphones on, listening to videos, staring at the screen. And then suddenly, what was an hour of chores slowly extended to several hours later. So when Adrian claims, oh, they had to do 8 hours of chores, that was on them.
And we did try to ask them, hey,
Can you stop dicking off and watching videos and instead
Yeah.
just do the thing? And they wouldn't.
I actually wrote the chore list several times to even make sure that like all the prep work was getting done at the beginning. That way you didn't have to like run back and forth to get something 10 times.
We even let them have phone calls with their friends while they were doing it. Except then we started noticing that caused slowdowns. Anything that was a distraction, they would just get sucked into. Like again, this kid had it easy. They had thousands of dollars at their disposal. They had gotten their degree in web development.
And they weren't working at all anyways. They weren't thing.
They were sitting on Discord and whining because they had to do.
Yeah, my girlfriend uses hot glue guns all the time, a few feet away from me, and I can't smell it at all. Yeah. Kay says, I have a very sensitive nose. There's a smell, but it's not strong and definitely doesn't travel. I want to see her list. Also, hi, Tyler. She's just used to blaming Spawn for her problems, so the headaches must be Spawn too, whatever they are doing at the time. All the while, Zena had no job, and since her life revolves around Poppy, you can bet she was at home all the time. Yeah. We timed our child on doing chores and they weren't quick enough. Yeah. And she couldn't be out of her room for hours at a time because alone time. Yeah. I mean, I would love to know what alone time is. Maybe Zena has a problem with being on Discord all day as well. Maybe that's happening, you know?
Chores because they had to wait an hour because our kitchen is small because of the island we have and the table that we have. They had to wait an hour to make microwave macaroni and cheese that they bought that would take 10 minutes tops to get together along with whatever food they wanted.
Part of it was just like there's just weird stuff like when they reframed things. Like part of the issue I didn't like having them in the kitchen with me was because there was a safety thing. If I was cutting up something with a knife, they would try to scoot around me right next to me and not say anything. And I'm like, no, I have a big ass knife in my hand. Please don't do that. And they kept doing it. They would do it over and over and over again. And no matter how many times I asked them, hey, if you need to be in here and I'm cutting something, please say something. You need to get around me. Please make yourself known.
Her mom died and all she got was $27,000. People's life insurance is like $200,000.
Like, you're right behind me. Don't try and scoot real fast around me. Like, don't do that. It never worked. Never would do what I asked, which was let me know that they were there or they need to get somewhere. What am I supposed to do?
In fact, one of the major issues was between the chemical smells and the being around people when they're using knives or anything like that. This was just a regular issue with Adrian. Adrian was awful about safety issues, including putting the wrong things in the microwave or complaining because we got them the wrong Tostitos pizza rolls or things like that. Like we're talking
I broke most of my mugs at this.
Yeah,
and just mine, not Poppy's.
Yeah,
just mine.
I literally have collector's mugs that were made by a place in Grand Ledge, Michigan, and the joke of it was that mine never got broken, but ZZ's did a bunch. Like again, this kid would go out of their way to with my partners, and this is not just with Zena. This happened with every partner I've had except for I think one of them. Anyone that asked them to do what they needed to do would get. So I need you guys to understand that like you can go watch those other people. You can go look at this document. I'm not going to stop you, but I need you to understand something. You're being lied to. And we're going to show you as much as we can with what we have. The last thing I want to bring up is a really bizarre claim that I actually find really offensive. So one of the claims that was brought up against us is that we didn't let Adrian have the internet, took away the internet.
Well, they specifically phrased it too as you were isolating them. That's exactly what they would say, isolating.
I mean, are the screenshots not real where it was 10 days later, 10 days later and you didn't turn the internet back on? Are those screenshots real? Because they seem like they were real. This is a reach. They bump you over and over in the kitchen. Yeah. Hi, Jose. How's it going? Also, Adrian also did say that the microwave that they use is on the other side of the kitchen. And how hard is it for Zena to just like be aware that somebody's nearby? LOL, what's with the fish picture? We decided she looked like a fish, so we put a fish there. Good point, Star. Those screenshots were Poppy's own words. Yeah. Jesus.
So here's what happened. Adrian would spend hours upon hours upon hours dicking off on Discord or playing video games with their friends instead of doing the things that were asked of them. So the issue is that what we would end up doing, we would try to come up with consequences because they would lie to us or dick off. And the issue we got into was nothing worked. Adrian was too willful. So what we did is eventually said, okay, we can only do one other thing. And that was we changed the password to the Wi-Fi. We let them not have access to the main internet in the house. Now you might be thinking, oh no, they've lost connection with their friends. Oh dear. Except they didn't. We have a T-Mobile plan. Adrian used to be on. They're not anymore. But that T-Mobile plan came with it a 10 gig hotspot. So not only did Adrian have their cell phone to be able to interact, talk with their friends on Discord, or be able to write them, they had a 10 gig hotspot they could connect their laptop to do the work they needed for looking for resumes, doing that kind of stuff, or just talking to their friends.
I mean, the screenshots are still there of them telling you they had a job thing to do. They had a job interview and they had another thing online to do, and you guys trying to get them. You said initially that you would let them use the internet if they had anything related to jobs, but then when they did have something related to a job, you started telling them, oh, what are you gonna give us in return? Like, yeah, no, this is the screenshots are there of you denying them internet for something that you wanted them to do, which was to get a job. So this is just absolute.
In fact, I know they used that hotspot because they blew through the 10 gigs really quickly because they didn't understand how downloading works despite it being explained multiple times. Now, so they definitely still had internet access. On top of that, they would regularly go to the library to do work there for resume stuff as well as looking up certain things like, how you appear at an interview, things like that. The library is like 4 blocks away, give or take. And again, yes, this kid had pots.
Didn't stop them from shopping.
Yeah, it never stopped them from going over all the time.
It didn't stop them from going, but it's still not good for them. They're saying, oh, yes, our kid had pots, but it didn't stop them from going. Well, they shouldn't have been going, especially if it was hot outside. What is wrong with you?
Shopping, it never stopped them from doing anything they wanted to do. But suddenly it was an issue when they were doing chores. So what ended up happening was we had to start making the guessing game of, is Adrian actually dealing with their pots or is Adrian lying? And there's no way to win that contest because it would only happen then. And so what we would do is make sure they had like sports drinks. We made sure they had snacks and food. We made sure they ate. We tried to do the best we could to make it so they were able to function and do this. Because again, look up pots.
It's actually really treatable.
Super treatable.
Really treatable. With physical therapy, diet changes. So basically just more fault, really. Possibly some medication, eating properly, eating regularly. No, it's super treatable. It's not that big of a deal. And if they did have an issue, we just went, okay, why don't you sit on the couch, get a snack, sit down, eat for a little bit, set a timer on your phone just in case you get kind of lost, and you get kind of out of it or ADHD kicks in, whatever. And then when you feel better, you start up your chore again and get that done. And we did. We had a thing with them of, hey, dude, you got to get your chores done before you get back online with your computer. We knew if they went back to the computer, they would get sucked in for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
Like, I want to be really clear that so we encouraged them to take care of themselves and they got mad. Yes.
No, we had house agreements going back years requiring them to take care of themselves because they didn't. Because
including regularly showering because they would forget.
Consistent sleep schedule. Like, if we didn't step in some of those past years, like, that would just be neglect. I had to look at this and go, okay, yes, they're an adult, but also we live here with them. So how do we handle this? And we went with, no, we do need to step in. We need to tell them and make sure that they get medical care properly. Make sure that they get medications consistently, have consistent sleep. That's why there were so many schedules in place, was for them, because they were not managing on their own. And this was a lot. Enough to keep up with, especially with two people who both have chronic illness.
I have POTS. Parents basically went by the rule, if you're not passed out, you're okay. It ended up being chores that I could do and asking my dad. Fair. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not saying we were perfect. And towards the end, the last 6 months, there was a lot more like arguments because Adrian was becoming. But I need you guys to understand that, like, when I talk to my other kids and I support them or are there for them.
I like how they minimize their child's health concerns, but migraines require several hours worth of alone time. Yeah. Wild. So Zena can go to physical therapy for migraines, but the kid didn't get to go to The PT? Oh, you mean like the dentist? Yeah. Usually not pro lobotomy, but these two are making me seriously reconsider. Yeah. Oh, PT is physical therapy. Oh, yeah. Okay. They could have been seriously injured. They weren't so good. They weren't so good parents. Yeah. If you're so sensorially in-tuned enough that hot glue hurts, then the sun hurts, the walk hurts, feeling you are unheard and have to repeat yourself too. Bet. Jesus.
I don't have these problems.
A lot of kids on the server who got to help anything from,
Hell, Nightwile and frickin' Chem are, I consider, like, under my auspices. Like, they have better conversations. I don't have the same stilted interaction with people because Adrian just wasn't interested in actually trying. They weren't really.
Children take work. I'm sorry. I forgot. I didn't realize. Did you realize that children take work? That it's not all rainbows and sunshine with your child when they're being difficult?
Interested in actually.
And the other children aren't real children, right? The other children are Discord people, apparently? Is that true? It's like a 22-year-old child. Yep, her adopted kid. So the other, you're comparing your actual kid to people on Discord is wild. Yeah. Yeah, you have a child. Children aren't, what? So why do we care as an adult? We went through a whole document earlier, M60. I'll send you the link later. We went through a whole document, but basically they were being like super controlling and micromanaging this kid. My roleplay family is better, so I choose them. So true, Chase. So true. Are they adopted? Which one? The kid that the actual kid that these two have is adopted. Yeah. The Discord children? No.
With these. So it wasn't until they got mad that they started having restrictions that they actually started looking for a new place to live. It wasn't because they wanted to be independent. It was because they didn't want to deal with us and us.
They are actually controlling their kid on levels that even prisons don't do.
Some sort of boundary.
M60, no, I agree with you. And they were trying to get a job. Their parents, like one of the examples, their parents would like these two would turn off the internet if their enormously long list of tasks didn't get done. And then they said they'd allow them to use the internet for job stuff. And then when the kid tried to tell them about a job interview they had, they started demanding like, oh, what are you going to give us in return? Like, yeah, you can say like, get a job. The kid did seem like they were trying to get a job, So there's a whole Google document on it. It's crazy. Like they were micromanaging the kid to next level, to the point where like, I come from a brown family. Nobody's, yeah. And even I was like, whoa, I mean, it says a lot that Adrian left and is fine without them. They didn't want to be independent. They just wanted to be away from us. Sounds like independence to me. Star hasn't even gotten to all the 19-year-old randos she blackmailed. Oh, wait, you do? M60, I didn't know that. But no, I mean, like, even, what I'm saying is, like, from a brown family, parents are pretty up on you, right? And even for me, this was like a lot. This is like too much. This is actually abusive, The 20-year-old who grew up being controlled by them, it's not as simple as just leave. Yeah. Kid did leave and they're mad about that too.
We're asking for help and trying to work together as a household. Like, I'm not saying there were chores that we did. Like a lot of the out of the house stuff, a lot of the running around and doing stuff, that was on ZZ. My job was to work and get chores done when I helped.
I generally took care of one too. I think that did.
Including going to the vet. Like, we tried to so many times frame this as working as a team. And that's not to say we didn't do dishes. That's not to say we didn't clean things. There are plenty of times that we tried to frame that as this, really try to work together. But this idea.
Star racist, all brown families micromanage? A lot of them do. Now we have to do all the chores. Yeah, crazy.
Idea that Adrian had to work 8 hours with no food, no one cared about their pots, blah, 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 blah. No, this is true. And if you believe it to be true, I'm sorry, you're an idiot.
So they didn't bother educating us about their pots. In fact, they told us lies about it the first time.
Zena had to do
educating you about their pots? You're their parent. What? You're their parent.
Independent research and then call them out on it because they decided to give us wrong information, despite the fact that we literally found the packet that was filled with all of this information that they should have.
Also, even if Asian families, Asian parents or brown parents like micromanage, they don't do it to the extent that these two did.
That their doctor gave to them. Yeah. I went through and I highlighted things like, oh, Adrian, you eating regularly and being on the schedule that we all have agreed on already is actually really good for the pots because it means that you will eat consistently.
I hate that I have to talk about this. I don't want to do this much longer.
I hate that I've got to go.
Because the thing is we did our best and tried with this kid. And I know it sounds like I'm being really distant with my language. And it's because, let me be really clear. I fought for so long to try to get everybody in the house to work together. I tried for so long to try to fix it. And eventually I just had to give up because Adrian would not play ball. I had so many arguments with my partner. So many. Trying to figure out what was wrong. Yeah, they would not work with us. They got on their Lexapro and it got better for a while. They got done with school and it got better for a while. And then it went right back to being awful. And living with them while they were an adult for the last couple of years was hell.
People seem to
Yeah. Lots of elements here too. Years of admitted abuse, partners in and out. Yeah, they put this person like put their partners above their child is what it sounds like. At what age did they adopt them? So she was 4. This person, Poppy, was with her mother, and her mother was like, her mother died in like a accident involving a horse when Adrian was 4. And then so Poppy started taking care of Adrian since then.
think that this is an 18-year-old, like a currently 18-year-old. That is the shit that they are constantly posting about Poppy and I, is that we abused a child. I didn't know this kid as a child.
I grew up being a brown gal in a Chinese school off and on, in a pretty integrated place. All the homies had helicopter tiger parents. Yeah, it's definitely the experience.
This is an adult, much older, with access to every swimming in money, more money than I've ever seen. Frankly, I've never had that much money available to me ever.
So I want to make something really clear, and I'll extend this again when we do the second part when we go over the receipts. And people can talk and be really angry at me being harsh about this, but there are 2 pathways for here, and I'm going to explain both of them. So I'm looking and talking right now to Adrian. Adrian, here's what the situation is. If you would ever like to reconcile with me, you need to take down everything you know you're lying, you know you're exaggerating. If you don't, you're lying to yourself. You either can remove this stuff, which won't get rid of the document because you've already f***ed up there, and it certainly won't stop Kiwi Farms from knowing who you are now, but you need to take down the blog and stop this,
And ask anyone else that you can down to involving.
including the document. If you do this, I'm more than happy to meet and talk and discuss and try to find some way to have a relationship despite all of this. Zizi might not, but I'm willing to at least extend that olive branch. Here's the thing though, if you keep burying your head in the sand, keep lying, and keep pretending that you're not somehow responsible for the fact that I lost my job, because you're a big part of that, as well as the fact that you're now spreading around lies that we supposedly abused you. You are literally trashing my good name, as good as it is. And the reality is that you know you're doing this. So if you would like to ever have a relationship with me, you need to end this. The other pathway is this. You leave this stuff up, keep lying to these people and letting them weaponize you against you. Because that's what they're doing. They're using you. People that are spreading this thing around do not like me, and you are aiding them and hurting my life.
Many of them were actually involved that did some kind of sexual harassment, us or others.
Or decided that, clout and money were more important than actually, someone's friend. They didn't really test out real high in the loyalty. So here's what's going to happen. I have a lawyer on retainer. If you do not take this stuff down, I will start pursuing legal action, and you will.
Okay, it's over if the farm's got a hold of y'all. Now these parents need to get a job too. The kid is not a YouTuber now. It's weird how they're asking their child to remove stuff from the internet, but when Poppy was given a choice of getting off the internet or keep their job, they chose to stay on the internet. There's no legal action that can be taken. She's such a idiot, lol. Yeah, no. They're too prominent. They're considered, the bar for being considered like a public figure is pretty low, and trying to pursue a defamation case as a public figure is like impossible. She's acting like the kid brought Kiwi Farms to them. No, honey, the farms have been aware of your shit for over 2 years. Damn.
Never reconcile with me. You have gone too far. You've officially crossed the line of you are now doing harm to me. Not just Easy, just the people you don't like, me. And the fact of the matter is you can either resolve this and still have your mom in your life in some way, or I'm done, and I will pursue legal action for everything you've lied about. Those are the 2 paths. And this is not Zizi's decision. This is not anyone else's. This is mine.
She didn't tell me about this.
And I've at least spoke to a couple different lawyers besides the one on retainer. I'm pretty sure that I have a pretty decent libel or defamation. Here's the issue. You know this shit. Drop it. Get rid of it. If you want to talk to me about the difficulties you had or the issues you had when you were, you need to A, be honest about them, and B, you need to be a grown-up and actually talk about them instead of putting them out there like this. You know better. I raised you better than this. I am utterly disappointed that you took this path, because you are not only putting my life at risk, because you guys keep making so much noise that Kiwi Farms was bound to get involved, you dumbasses, but every person that touches this now is a potential target, including you. You never thought this would affect you. You never thought they would find your LinkedIn, just like never thought anyone would find your Facebook. The reality here is that, like, I can't do kid gloves anymore. You're not a kid. You're 24. You should know better on this stuff. I raised you better than this. The people that have been in your life who have been other parental figures have raised you better than this. Marcel raised you better than this. You,
If my friend stepped up and helped.
Renee, Nick, everybody. Yeah. And you have spit on all of that because you didn't get your way, because you got some restrictions. And so you exaggerated these claims or just outright lied, and you're now putting a bunch of people, including your own mother, at physical risk. Now, don't worry, I'll take care of me. But what happens when they find your address? Or what happens when they decide to go after your roommate who has so much more to lose?
Jesus, dude. How old is this vid? This happened recently. 2 days ago. Remember that time you didn't feed your kid? Remember when you wouldn't let them use the microwave? Kiwi Farms remembers. Damn, dude. By the way, guys, if you have access to a kitchen and you are not being restricted from use of your kitchen and you can cook, consider using my HelloFresh code to get 16 free meals plus free dessert for life while your subscription is active. You can use POGHF131845. That is my code on HelloFresh. Anyways, also consider liking the YouTube stream and subscribing and becoming a member. Okay, anyways. It takes a village to raise a child is something Poppy took literally. Damn. Oof, dropping ominous threatening language at the end. Mom of the year again, yeah? Excuse me. Yeah, dessert for life. As long as you have the subscription open or whatever, active.
Very nice person that you live with who works at the very prestigious job.
Gave you a deal on rent money and let you
Despite not having a job at the time.
Yeah.
But again, you don't care about other people because you didn't think this through, which sucks because you're really intelligent. I know you know how to do this, but you chose not to. So you have an option, a chance at future reconciliation with me if you drop all of this and stop it and stop allying with people that want me dead or not. And then you don't have me in your life ever again. After everything I've done, after everything I chose, after all the sacrifices I've made to be there for you, if that's the way you want to go, great. But if that's the case, I will pursue legal action. I will nail you as hard as I can with the law. I love you deeply and truly. But if you keep on this course of action, you are going to be dead to me. You are allying with people who do not care about your well. You are allying with people who are sycophants and people who want to harm me because they don't like me for whatever reason. Maybe I'm just too pretty. I don't know.
About you too, and I also deeply love you. It's hard to say that knowing all I did. I don't know if there's ever a way back to. I really don't. I spent years of my life and I hopped into parenting real fast when I got with Poppy. I made a decision because I knew I was getting a relationship with it. And it sucks that everything went to shit like this. Because even when I knew that my body was failing me and I was not going to always function well, I was worried that I would turn into a vegetable at some point. What life was like for quite a few years. I still tried to make sure that there was other services, other people to help. And it was never enough for me that I just wasn't available. Wasn't as my health broke down. And I get to watch Poppy go through all of this stuff.
Well, okay, your health broke down, but again, what about the child's health that broke down, right? Like, damn, dude. God, I wish this blobfish would stop crying, damn.
Now, with so many people and everything gets worse, and us both having to be explaining.
Log off the internet!
I am scared to leave the house at this point and leave our dog alone. Last thing I want is some officer out that she's afraid somebody came into the house or somebody tried to come over. Like, no, this up everything. And if you don't care about us, fuck, at least I thought you cared about the dog.
So here's the thing is, I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to keep this going forever. We could go on for days about how hurt or how upset we are. I'm just going to make it very clear to you. If you have anyone around you, if there's anyone around or close to Adrian who
the clout
interacts
star,
with them
the clout
Tumblr or Discord, I want to be 1000% clear. Give them good advice. Tell them to end this. That is the best course of action for everyone. If they actually want to resolve whatever their issues actually are, that is the way to handle this. I am willing to still have a relationship. I don't think Zena will. And Zena's staying in my life. Sorry, that's how that's going. You either respect my wishes or you're not part of my life. It's very, very, very simple. So, I'm not going to belabor the point. I appreciate people listening to this and hearing us out. If you still think that we're terrible, awful abusers, we're going to be covering the receipts when we get them together and get the document together, because clearly we have to make sure we do that. And then after that, I will not bring up this topic again. We will not be responding to anyone's videos. We will not be doing anything with this. And I will extend this same thing at the end of the next video. I'm not going to insult you. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to do anything, but I will protect myself. I will protect my community and my partner. So again, if you're someone around Adrian, give them good advice. Very important. Do you have anything else you want to add?
As usual, if somebody needs to get a hold of us, can't figure out another way to do it, the transgirl therapist email, transgirltherapist@gmail.com is open. People can use that if they can't figure out how else to get a hold of us.
So I guess the last thing I'll say is this. I appreciate everyone listening, and we will try to get this stuff together as quickly as we can. I can't promise when. We are still working on it. We have another person who's been nice enough to volunteer to help get that together. It's still going to take time because we are going through years of stuff, and we have to be thorough because we're on the defensive. People believe this out of hand because they're idiots and have no sense of actual critical thinking. They just like drama, which is why we're not responding to people or doing any of that nonsense.
This is our lives. This is drama. Like, it's drama in the sense of it's severe, dramatic, but it's our real lives.
So with that said, this is part 1. Part 2 will come out sooner than later. And yeah, I guess we will see you in the next segment.
Yeah, there's
All
a
right?
part 2.
Take care.
Watch it, never stop. Dude, the only way to move past this stuff online is to just log off, you know? Okay, let me see. That's the spawn document. This is the other document that apparently is even more damning. Will you bring up the asexual violations? But why are you putting you in quotations? That's exactly it. Bro, it gets deeper. Yeah, apparently this one is the one that's super damning. The now hidden clip from their stream in October about how Poppy Amory works. It's half an hour, but if you want to see what they had to say in public, it's pretty revealing. Guys, This is nuts. Okay, they
Been
look so
awful.
different in this.
I'm going to explain why, and ZZ can fill them in to a point. The last several weeks have been awful. I'm going to explain why, and ZZ can fill them in to a point, because I know there's one particular piece of information we have some contention over.
Wait, are we saying this on stream?
You know, most people would say a 23-year-old is not a kid, but I think it's really brave of you to stand up for leacher rights. Nice, Primordial. Look, no, I'm not saying that the kid didn't have problems too. I think it's pretty obvious that the kid has their own issues, right? And I would be willing to call everybody in this situation a loser. But I do think that these two are pretty egregious, knowing that the kid was raised by Poppy since she was like 4, right? And knowing that, and knowing how controlling and micromanaging they were doing, you know? So, yeah. Being a leech entitles you to being kicked out of the house, not controlled and sued. Yeah, the kid definitely has problems. It's just Poppy and Zena are the bigger losers, yeah. So just fix the fish, please. Oh, sure.
I'm not saying it all. I'm just giving a light overview because I need to vent. And then we're going to get to Beyond Safe Words and Foreign Man in a Foreign Land.
Piss some people off.
No.
Are you sure?
No, we're not pissing anyone off. Wow, Pluvius, thank you for the 4 gifted tier 1 subs. Again, Harmsy donated $5. My war on white names has begun. Very nice. Levy Artyom shifted 2 tier 2 subs to Faripsy and Hunter.me.
That was brutal? What? What was brutal? Did I say something brutal? What happened? Stardust, can you cover the other fish's face too? The other one doesn't look like a fish. This stream just picking turds on the internet to make fun of? I mean, kind of. Yeah. There are 2 fish on the screen and one of them ate the other one. It was some Animal Planet stuff. Wait, what? You guys are terrible.
So, because there's this thing that happens sometimes when we are dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of stuff, and it creates a positive feedback loop. And I don't mean positive good. And that feedback loop is something to the effect of Poppy gets stressed and has a migraine probably every 3 days. ZZ gets stressed, starts having a migraine daily. Environmental factors fuck us because Michigan's weather has been god-awful.
Oh, they live in Michigan. Baby, do you remember
And then,
when
on top of
fireworks at
that-
Lake Michigan? Hey, I'm coming home again. Every single headache ever equals migraine. You guys know that song? That Kanye West song? Baby, do you remember when fireworks at Lake Michigan? Hey. Stardust, will you do a cover of Gay Fish from the South Park soundtrack? That's a good idea.
We've had personal life issues going on from multiple directions. One of those we're going to be talking about on stream tonight. Another one will probably be a future segment on polyamory because I got some thoughts. But I'm going to leave that be for now. So the health issues have been, ZZ has basically had a migraine ongoing for about 2 to 3 weeks now. And it's been awful.
Have they had their blood pressure checked? Because I never get migraines. And when I got migraines for a while, it was because my blood pressure was really high.
And the problem is that ZZ is kind of the linchpin in the house because I'm usually working. And so like I'll get things done around here, but like there has to be like a changeover and some discussions because I have ADHD and don't remember all the stuff that we need to do. But also like ZZ's usually the one that handles like the grocery orders or handles that kind of stuff. And then if they're down and completely, we run out of food in the house, which then means that we have to then.
It's from mind melding with a furry too many times. You know what? Let me see if Malcolm is available to talk. Just a second. Two adults who can't manage. Dude, I can't use my ADHD as an excuse for everything, you know? Like, goddamn. Damn. I feel like, okay, Malcolm's gonna give me a call in 5 minutes. In the meantime, let me just do a little bit of reading on these folks. Okay. The other one has ADHD and would forget to eat and starve to death, so. The other one said that she didn't forget, though, that she was hungry. Apparently, ADHD is when you can't take care of yourself like a human. I mean, there are a lot of things that ADHD can do, but, like, it certainly doesn't do that to me. You know? Wholesome degenerates. Middle-aged, polycule of enablers, and BPD-filled breakups, abusive parent, fakes having multiple personalities, serial sex pest, grooms minors, and SA victims with furry porn. Fired from their job for being terminally online. Can rob you of executive function. LOL, I support HR work. I think HR made the right call here, yeah. What I would like to know, what is the deal with them always streaming together? And what is the deal with them sharing a Twitter account? Like, this isn't just codependent. This is like next level attachment. It's unhealthy. Sometimes I have no executive function, it's a part of it, but like I live alone and they have social workers and ADA therapy for that and home support programs if you need them. These people are hot first world messes. Yeah, no, I mean like there are people out there who do genuinely have all these disabilities, and like I think they do a pretty good job of like not making themselves into perpetual victims. They work on their stuff, you know, and it's not always going to be perfect, but they work at it. And they don't try to hurt other people. I don't think anything going on there is healthy. I think they're maladapting, like seriously maladaptive. Their identities / sense of self are probably dependent on each other, but I'm no psychologist. Jeez. I'm just picking that I'm picturing that South Park episode with Mrs. Garrison. I've been watching a lot of South Park lately. Been catching up. I'm an internet collegist, and I'd say they're codependent and retarded. I printed out my PhD last night. Nice. Your identity and sense of self should not depend on a disorder, an adaptation, or a job. It's something bigger and both smaller. Never mind. Okay. K-fish is stuck in my head now. As a good trad wife, do you want anything from the kitchen? I think I'm good. Thank you, VegCom. So I'm looking at the forums, right? I'm looking at the forums for these people, okay? The one thing that I have to say about the forums is that the amount of misgendering they do, I really, you know, I get that it's a bit, it's their thing, you know, but, you know, I try not to do that, but yeah. Anyways, so according to the forums, they say that Poppy has BPD and OSDD. What is OSDD? Yeah, M60, the forums, yeah. I like to read it sometimes, but it's hard when you're reading something that misgenders somebody and then you're trying to be gender appropriate, right? You know? But anyways, Poppy's fursona is a hyena, because female hyenas have pseudopenises. I mean, look, if I were going to have a fursona, it would be probably a hyena, but I don't know. Other specified dissociative disorder. Oh, that's what OSDD is. Okay. Poppy's headmates are Penny, a tiger / shark hybrid that is a young girl, which has its own Twitter account, Penny Diabolique, and Pepper, a tiger spider hybrid that is canonically 12 to 14 years old, who occasionally posted on her NSFW Twitter account, Lady Diabolique, with either a peppermint or hot pepper emoji. Farms isn't actually not that bad. They just use like, oh, I don't have a problem. Like, I like to read it. It's just hard if I'm like, if I'm streaming at the same time and trying to look at it, it's very hard. Like, I'm trying to not get confused, you know? No, don't do that. Please don't do that, okay? I'm a banana. I'm a banana cat, okay? That's my persona. Anyways. Yeah, banana cat, the crying banana cat, that's my fursona, okay? All right.